Welcome to Pearlmania500.
Yep.
The husband and wife podcast where they drive out into the deep Nevada desert. Go all the way to the middle. Into the empty desert. Where they put on drum and bass music.
Oh my God.
And wait for the rains to come so they get knee deep in lore. And then they pick that lore and they throw it at each other. And then they go on social media to complain that they weren't told that it was ever going to be like this.
Yeah. This is exactly what our podcast is like.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable.
It is.
It's a little like the temperature's off. Right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, I wish I had a sweater.
Yeah.
Or I'm a little too hot. Like there's no in between.
And you're like, it always feels like you're just scratching the surface of where the true horror lies.
Yeah. And also you're like really thirsty no matter how much water you drink. That's the feeling I get from listening to you tell me lore.
There we go. Well, here's the show.
There's a place where you can't stay when the world gets too insane. Yeah, when the world gets too inane, tune in to Pearlmania. Brony talks and pony jars and saying a sonic race just. Fitness scams and grifters, damn, and various other miscellanea. So there's this place where you can stay to let those Pearlmans save ya. Pearlmania, Pearlmania, Pearlmania 500. Take it away, Pearlmans, and remember to smile.
Are you smiling?
I'm smiling ear to ear. That's what I do. All right?
I know.
Because when his name is Dusk says, remember to smile, you know what I fucking do?
Whatever he says.
Exactly. Every single
Because
time.
he's the boss.
Because we're old friends. That's what we do.
Yeah, put the old.
You bringing this type of energy to start the podcast today? Does it make you feel good?
Yeah.
Does it make you feel proud of yourself?
Yeah.
All right. So with that, welcome to Pearlmania500. It's an exciting show.
Yeah.
We got a lot to cover this episode.
What are we covering?
Well, first thing I can do, I don't usually hit the button this early, but
Yeah.
And that's
Oh.
guarantee.
We're making big guaranteed claims out here. You can't say that about Florida.
or Twitter. I mean, because here's the thing. I do, because some people still keep reaching out every now and then, like, hey, why don't you give updates or anything on Twitter? No. I know I just hit the no Nazi guarantee button. That is for the subject of today's episode. But during this moment right here, Twitter is full of fucking Nazis. It's literally paying Nazis to post fucking Nazi propaganda. And now Nazis are paying Twitter to post the 14 words, which is right into their ad space.
Perfect.
So just keep that in mind. If you work for any organization that is still posting tweets or on X.com, whatever the fuck that asshole wants to call it, just maybe make a stink at your work about it. Be like, hey, I don't feel comfortable by having my images put on a Nazi website.
Yeah.
And just point out to them. And if they have any questions about it, you can just say, hey, why don't you just type in ban the ADL and see how many tweets came up against the Anti-Defamation League.
Yeah.
Or
Also,
how the owner of the platform is talking about how, the ADL used to be cool, but now it's been taken over by the wokes.
Okay. I don't. God, he's such
a piece of shit. I just wanted to open with that.
Should we open every podcast just talking about what a piece of shit Elon Musk is?
Yeah, we should.
That'd be great because it really gets my vibes up.
Yeah, I just want to bring into the world to remind everyone at all times.
Yeah.
That whenever you think you're not doing good, Elon Musk is just off to the side, wearing a leather duster, and yelling, "This is lay epic," as he falls on his fucking face, but somehow makes more fucking money.
Yeah, it's like anytime I feel like I didn't get a lot done today, or I was feeling kind of sick, so I was like laying about and I wasn't doing as much as I was hoping to accomplish on my list of tasks.
Yeah.
I just remember that at least I didn't grow up with all of the opportunity of an emerald mine wealth of family fortune and then squander it buying social media to platform Nazis. And every day, all I do is take L's. No, I just didn't feel great.
Yeah.
At least that didn't happen to me.
Which is why this episode, we can tell you it has a...
And that's a no Nazi guarantee.
But with that, obviously this is another one of our fun episodes.
Super fun.
It's brought to us by our patrons.
Yep.
And by sponsors. But if you don't like to hear the regular commercial sponsors, you can always hop over to our Patreon, become a Hey Hun or a team lead, and let's go ahead and greet some new ones this week.
Heck yeah, let's go.
Hey, let's meet our team leaders.
All right, we got 10 this week. Starting off, we have Enigma Hakeem.
Hey, Enigma. Hey, Hun.
After that, we have Deep Space Feline.
I really like that one.
That's a pretty good, you know what?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That's a good one. After that, we have I Patroned because Spotify was too slow and I nuttied my buddy.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, there's a lot in that
Hey,
one.
Hun.
There's a lot in that one. After that, we have underscore, the diabetic wonder underscore.
Hey, Hun.
You're going to like this next one.
Okay.
Born during Quack Month.
Yo, that's a Leo, usually. It's a
Yeah,
Leo. I
yeah.
love a Leo.
But yeah, August was Quack Month. We're now moving on. We don't know.
Virgos. We're in Virgo month. Look out, y'all. We're about to organize some things.
Speaking of Virgos, the next couple I think go together. Dr. Fill My Butt.
Wait, is this spelled P-H-I-L?
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah, Dr.
Hey,
Fill My
Hun.
Butt. And after that, Messy Nessie.
No, Messy Nessie.
They came together. All right. Heyo. After that, we have
No.
the Thugler.
Wait, say that again?
The Thugler.
Oh, with a G. The
Yeah,
Thugler.
the
Nice.
Thugler.
Hey, Hun.
Yeah, I like that one. After that, we have Seasonal Suade.
Hey, Hun.
And finally, we have Intoxicated and Underrated.
Yeah, let's go. Hey, Hun.
And that was...
Hey, let's meet our team leaders.
Speaking of the Thugler, since I didn't really understand your pronunciation.
Oh, thank you. Kind of the same way I pronounce Nevada.
I need to bring it to the listeners. So Alex recently had a TikTok go viral where he was making fun of Burning Man, the burners at Burning Man, if you will.
Yeah.
And in it, he was saying Nevada, obviously, because that's where it takes place.
Yeah.
And so many comments, so many inboxes and emails telling us that he pronounced Nevada wrong. And then they kept spelling it out. They're like,
But
N-E.
each spelling was different.
Yeah, but also the spelling it out sounds the same phonetically. Like they'd be like NE-VAH-DUH.
Nevada.
Yeah, and I'm like, what?
Nevada?
That's like Wisconsin.
I know.
though,
That's
right?
the thing is like, I don't understand. Here's the part that was annoying to me about it, right? Is like, why do I always got to change my accent for everybody?
Well,
Let me just throw this out there real quick. All right.
I'm not the one to talk about.
No, listen,
I
I'm fucking.
don't ever know
listen,
what I'm saying.
we got Delco Hoagie Mouths. All right. We're from Delaware
I
County.
am not from Delaware County. you
Well, we're
piece
from
of
around
shit.
Delaware County.
Fuck outta here.
All right. You fucking suck my dick. All right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's how we're gonna talk to each
Yo,
other.
fucking. That's how this
Yo,
fucking podcast is starting today.
I swear to God,
I got
if
a
you
bunch
don't
of
change
fucking
your
people-
fucking attitude, I'm gonna take you out back and throw you a bean like you never seen before. Okay.
All I'm fucking saying is, I did fucking karate.
It's gonna be a real shame when you get hurt if you don't keep this up.
Look at me right now, all right?
looking at you.
I can fucking pronounce all sorts of things real good, all right? I get a fucking bamie, all right?
Yeah.
I get some pho.
Yeah, I
all
think
right?
it's pho.
I do fucking karate.
Yeah.
Not karate.
Okay.
All right? Fucking Nevada.
I don't know, but if anyone
But as
knows,
you
there's
kept
just-
yelling at me, you're like, nobody goes to Nevada.
No.
They go to fucking
you
Las
go
Vegas.
To fucking Vegas or you go to Reno.
Yeah,
That's it.
do we pronounce that right? I don't care.
I don't know.
All I know is it doesn't matter. None of this matters. Most people are really just enjoying the fact that there are so many people with dreadlocks trapped in mud.
Yeah, but also just a bunch of rich assholes.
Rich fuckheads.
That lawyer.
Yeah.
The Nestle
lawyer the lawyer for Nestle who argued in front of the Supreme Court that Nestle should not be held accountable for using child slave labor
Yep.
internationally.
Yep.
And he won the case.
Yeah.
He made it out of Burning Man alive.
But first of all, he was at Burning Man.
Yes.
That tells you everything you need to know about
Yes.
Burning Man. In my opinion.
It's like him.
Humble
it's
opinion.
Diplo. It's Chris Rock. I mean, like, people I don't want to be stuck in a room together.
He's all stuck in the mud with.
And the thing is once I made that TikTok, immediately the rest of my feed is full of other people at Burning Man. So now I have more of an idea of the experience.
Yeah.
And one of the videos was of Diplo.
Oh, no.
Getting in a hot air balloon.
Okay.
To fly over Burning Man at dawn.
Okay.
To blast his music at the crowd.
I would literally kill myself.
Why the fuck would I spend $20,000 to stay in an air-conditioned yurt to be woken up by fucking Diplo in a hot air balloon?
If I'm going to spend
like he's in the Wizard of fucking
to
Oz.
go on, in quotes, vacation, and I'm going to, if I have that much money, catch me at the Four Seasons with like the blinds that like are built into the windows so that you get that bat cave element of sleep. And I don't need Diplo and an air balloon waking me up. Let me wake up at noon because it's my vacation.
Yeah, no cat. No cat banging at the door.
Yeah, because the
no
cat
dog
is the alarm
barking.
clock. Yeah,
no dog barking.
No, somebody's at home.
No neighbor. Yeah, but no dog barking because there isn't a guy across the street slamming his car door a little too hard at 7 a.m. every fucking day.
To let him know that he needs to watch his temper.
But all these things, it just drove me crazy. And then one person was like, "I can't believe you're coming down to festivals." Listen, festivals are fun. I've been to music festivals. They got a time and a place. All right.
Yeah, in your 20s.
But there's the thing is, like, when I found out these yurts, which are basically drywall duct taped together.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
With an air conditioning unit, a fucking window unit sticking out of the side of it.
Yep.
And people were paying $20,000 to stay at it. I had to do the math. Mm-hmm. I just want to be clear to everybody. The federal minimum wage in Pennsylvania and most of the United States is $7.25 an hour.
Yeah.
If you work full time, 52 weeks out of the year.
Yeah.
For 40-hour weeks,
Yep.
which is 80 hours over 26 pay periods.
Yep.
You will make $15,000 at the end of the year.
Not enough for a yurt.
You are $5,000 short of a 1-week yurt rental.
Yeah.
So these people, I have no sympathy for them. They were warned, the people who put on the concert, or this whole thing we're fucking with. It's not actually a concert. This whole fucking artist excursion.
Oh, my God.
When they talk about, they're going to take care of everything. And one of the big rules is they don't leave anything behind. In 2017, the people at Burning Man abandoned 5,000 bicycles in the middle of the desert.
Yeah. Yep. That sounds right.
5,000 of them. And then they tried to flip it on its head as a PR thing. They're like, well, we recollected the bicycles and we're giving them to the victims of Hurricane Harvey down in Houston. Houston, which is so well laid out for bicycle use. Because when I think of places that are really well laid out for bicycles, I think of the urban sprawl of Texas and Houston and Dallas.
Anyway, as you can tell, we've been screaming about this to each other for a while now.
Yeah.
Because once we get a bug in our butts about something, we just like to go down little...
And I'm just a fun dude.
Yeah, that's true. You're just super fun. That's what the internet always says.
Yeah. I'm definitely chill.
They're always like, why is this guy's heart not exploding?
I'm definitely a chill dude who deserves to go to the middle of the desert.
You're not going
to be surrounded by diesel generators.
I cannot
while telling people we're all one community.
Anyone who would be less equipped emotionally, physically, spiritually to do this than you.
I've done it before, man.
You would never survive.
I went to way back in the day.
In your 20s, maybe.
Back in the day.
20s, maybe.
I went to them music concerts.
You can't even handle that the air conditioner in this room isn't on right now.
I'm so upset about it. The day I figure out how to run AC in here while recording so it doesn't ruin the listener's experience.
You cannot tell me you'd be okay. You wouldn't even make it through the traffic. You'd have to get on a flight. Okay, you want to get on a plane and go through security? Okay.
Let me tell you something. Here, bro. Let me tell you something about airport security, all right?
All right.
Let me tell you something. They're always like, yeah, you got weapons? And I'm like, yeah, check out these two guns right here. And I throw my muscles and I go, I did karate, all right? I did karate.
You did karate.
I did karate.
In a mall.
In a fucking strip mall.
Yeah, dude.
It was a fucking Delco strip mall karate studio.
What belt did you get?
I made it all the way to fucking black belt.
Nice.
I did not get certified, though.
Why not?
Because I went away to school.
Oh.
And they were like, yo, you can get certified in 6 months. I got the black belt, and they're like, it's like official, but like you don't get the piece of paper until... I've been doing this shit for 5.5 years.
Wow. You never got the piece of paper?
I never got the piece of paper to put on the wall.
Whoa.
But you know what I did get?
Stolen valor.
Yo, fuck you, dude. Now I'm mad. You know what? I don't even want to do this topic anymore.
You gotta do it.
All right. Well, after I'm going to hit this thing.
Okay.
And then people will hear either music if they don't pay money, or if they pay money, they just hear music.
Oh, okay.
And if they don't, then they're going to hear an ad.
Oh man, somebody told me they were getting a lot of like Home Depot ads.
Ooh, Home Depot?
Which is pretty funny.
It's fucking hilarious.
We're a Lowe's household, if anything.
Yeah, well, there's that. I mean, I try to go to like a True Value or an Ace when
Except for
acceptable.
I did go off about the Home Depot sausage and peppers last episode.
You really did,
and
though.
a lot of people were like, "Yo, bet I'm driving in." I got an email.
But that's the thing is, don't go in Home Depot.
No, don't go in the Home Depot.
It's in the parking lot. It's attached to the front of the building.
You don't have to go into Home Depot.
All right. We're gonna stop. We're gonna hit the thing, and then we're gonna come back with this week's topic.
Yeah, I wonder what it is.
Pearlmania, 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 Pearlmania 500.
And we're back.
We never left.
Well, you know, there was a 2-second pause in our life.
Oh, okay.
And that was called our marriage. All right. So,
okay.
I want to tell you about a lady.
Okay.
Her name?
Yeah.
Marta Halina Skowronska.
All right. She sounds cool.
It's a very Polish name.
I used to work with a lady named Marta. She was one of my faves.
Okay. Well, that's a Polish pronunciation. Marta Halina Skowronska.
Okay.
She was born April 15th, 1684.
1684? We're going way back.
We're going way back. That's why I could hit the
Way
no Nazi
back.
guarantee button. But then immediately blow it up with Elon screaming.
Yeah, sorry.
But this is 1684.
Okay.
We're in Eastern Europe.
All right.
Okay. Her dad's name is Samuel.
Okay.
Mom's name, Dorothea.
All right.
Okay. It's a blended family. All right. His dad's family are like from like Belarusia area, Minsk. Mom is from either Latvia or maybe even Baltic German. Because the one thing that people forget a lot about is when you're looking at Eastern Europe, there's a mix of Germans and Slavs and Poles and all these different people, because it's difficult when you're looking at Europe because the western border of Russia, it's all flat.
Yeah.
So everyone's just rolling over each other constantly. So you just have these swaths of people rolling and rolling and rolling. And so there used to be a lot more Germans there until the end of World War II. And when the Iron Curtain came down, all the Germans that were spread out in there, they would, they'd be like a larger minority, like 20 to 25% of some of these populations, were pushed all back to Germany. They were like, get the fuck out of here. You're all just going to Germany. You want to be fucking German so bad. Get over there to Germany. Because they're all pissed off about that. So Marta's parents are this mix of just about everything. So she's kind of like a mutt. And
the very American of her.
Yeah, and the issue that we have is that her life is very hazy because it's 1689 and 1684. Okay. And she's a woman.
Yep. So
and on top of that, she's not a noble woman.
Oh, okay.
So she's just some girl.
Yeah, they're not going to write about her in the books.
No, exactly. So in 1689, the one thing we do know, both of her parents died of bubonic plague.
Oh, all right. That sucks.
So she's orphaned.
Okay. Wait, how old is she?
She is 5 years old.
Okay, orphan.
She's an orphan at 5.
Yeah.
Her 4 other siblings, also orphans.
Okay.
But don't worry. Because again, we don't really know how terrible her life is. Okay. Because they
just become singing pickpockets like the Newsies.
Kind of. Yeah. that's not how. It's not. Are you thinking? No, you're thinking Oliver.
No, the Newsies.
It's been a long time since I've seen the Newsies.
They're like this.
Were they pickpockets too?
They're pickpockets, right?
Well, Oliver was pickpockets. The Newsies sold newspapers. That's why they're Newsies, and they're in a union.
I feel like they were pickpockets
too.
Am I thinking Oliver?
You're thinking Oliver. You're thinking because in both cases the children wore vests
and little sad beige
suspenders. Yes,
yeah.
That's what you're thinking. That's why you're confusing the two.
I'm just picturing little British children in the slums.
Yeah. This is 1680s.
This is way different.
So this is poor kids wearing sackcloth.
Yeah.
Where they're like, what do you want? Do you want to? Should potatoes go in here or children? And they're like, children, make armholes. So again, her life is very hazy.
Yeah.
Now there's rumors about her life later. Okay. Of what they say happened to her, and one of the rumor is that she basically becomes a house servant.
All right.
Which is either a scullery maid or a washerwoman to a family in Latvia. Now, today we call it Latvia. If you're looking at a map and you got Russia on the one side, there are these 3 little states that are at the top. Latvia, and Estonia, and Lithuania are all up there. They're 3 little tiny little guys. Well, Latvia was a part of the Swedish Empire or Russian Empire or the Polish-Lithuanian Compact. Like, there's all these different groups that are like moving through there.
Yeah.
So today it would be Latvia. And one of the claims is that she works for a Lutheran minister from the age of 5 to the age of 17.
Working at 5. All right.
Yeah, well, again, this is back. There aren't dishwashers.
Yeah.
So you need a person.
There
aren't washing machines.
Hands to do your dishes.
There aren't washing machines.
Okay.
No one's invented Swiffer wet jets yet. So you got to have to scrub stuff.
Okay, no one is using Swiffers to really, truly clean anything.
Yeah, but even for a spot clean, you need...
It's just a maxi pad strapped to a dry mop, and then it smooshes the fucking...
Babe, I'm talking about 1690?
No, I'm just arguing about Swiffers.
I know you are, but I'm saying it's 1690. If you just want like a quick pass, you need a child to do that.
Yeah.
All right? You need your child worker to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so just different things like that, milking stuff. Like, there's just stuff to do.
Okay.
Back then, they milked more things.
Almonds, oats. Is that what you're talking about?
No, you can't milk an almond. Everyone tells you that all the time. Big Milk is a big sponsor of this podcast. I might be. If we speak well enough about milk,
well,
there's money in it.
I'm not a big milk person.
I know you're not. You're really grossed out by milk.
Okay. I like cheese and I like ice cream and I like dairy products, but you're not gonna catch me drinking a glass of milk. That shit's weird. Dude.
Yeah, the way you leave a room when I add milk to cereal,
Gross.
Yeah,
I'm out.
A thing I rarely eat, but when I do, you're like disgusting.
Gnarly, get me out of here.
But then you have a whole podcast conversation about how I need to eat more cereal.
I know, just in the other room because you put milk in it.
Okay. So anyway, 1690.
Okay.
So she works there. Now, the minister that she's working for. We don't know, but it's claimed that it's a very famous minister who was one of the first people to translate the Bible into Latvian, the local language.
Oh, okay.
Now that's weird because he's clearly a scholar and a learned man, but Marta never learns how to read or write.
Oh.
Her entire life, she is never going to learn how to do that.
All right.
So in 1702, Marta's around 17 years old. And now, again, we don't know if this is true, but it's been said in a story that she was a fucking smoke show.
Oh, okay.
That this is like the hottest 17-year-old in 1690.
Oh,
all right?
look out.
Like YouTubers were like, hey, what's up?
Oh, no.
Hop into the Instagram DMs.
No.
Okay? It's bad.
I don't know. It makes me nervous.
Now, the Lutheran minister's wife doesn't like this.
Well, all right.
Because Lutherans, unlike Catholic ministers and Catholic priests, they're allowed to fuck.
Oh, shit.
And they're allowed to get married.
But
that's a big part of Lutheranism.
But he's already married to her.
Yes, he's married to his wife.
So she's worried.
And they had kids.
Okay.
And they have a son.
All right.
And the Lutheran minister's wife is worried.
Oh, the son.
That the son will fall in love with hot Marta.
God damn it, hot Marta.
And she's like, I can't have that happen.
Yep.
Because she's just some wench. Like, this is back when wench, like fucking carried weight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you call somebody a wench, you're like, damn, dude.
Harsh.
That's like calling somebody like a gas station cashier. What? It's the same level.
Is that the same level? A gas station wench?
Yeah. How many people, all right, you're watching the local news, gas station cashier gets shot.
Okay.
How many minutes you think the local news is going to give that?
I see what you're saying. It's a class thing.
Yeah, it's totally a class thing. She's a wench. All right?
Okay.
So anyway, Marta, hot as hell.
Martha's super hot. Got it.
17. And so they got to get rid of her.
You got to get rid of her.
There's nothing else they can do. They're like, listen.
You're too hot. You got to get out of here.
It's only another 200 years till Swiffer wet jets are here, so we don't need you anymore.
The Swiffer wet jet's so terrible.
Yeah. So they...
Watch this episode get a Swiffer commercial.
Yeah. So when they move Marta, the way to get rid of her is you do the only good Christian way you can.
Okay.
You marry her off.
Not to their son, though.
Not to their son.
Okay.
No, because the good news is we're in the middle of a thing called the Great Northern War.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's great,
yeah,
I guess.
It's a very, very big war. And the Great Northern War is a war that basically ended or weakened the Swedish Empire.
Okay.
Did you know Sweden had an empire?
I did not.
No, at one point, Sweden was like one of the strongest militaries in Europe.
Okay, really?
Like terrifyingly so, until about this moment.
Oh.
So
who weakened them? Russia?
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Oh, okay.
That's what like most of this episode is about.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So the Great Northern War is happening. So they look around. They're like, we got to marry this lady off. So they find a Swedish dragoon whose name is either...
Hold the fuck. What the hell is a dragoon?
I knew you were going to ask that, so I actually wrote it down. A dragoon is a mounted infantryman in an army. Now, that's different than cavalry in this time period. So a cavalryman, you know what that is. It's a guy on a horseback, and he rides up with a sword. I'm going to chase you off, right?
Yeah.
These guys were guys on horseback, but they carried long rifles. And the idea being, we can move our guys with long rifles to the right position where they can then hop off their horses and start shooting.
So like Canadian Mounties.
No, not at all.
No? Okay.
Actually, absolutely not at all. Nothing in common whatsoever.
That's why I pictured them. I just pictured a big hat.
But there's dragoons are famous throughout. Yeah, they did have big hats.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but it was like those big tricorner hat type of deals. You know what I mean? Like,
so they're really dragging it up. Real dragging
Oh, no. Listen, this is the 1690s, 1700. Yeah. Everything is pastels. Perfect. Everything is drag. Everything is wigs. Everything is powder and makeup and arsenic, baby.
Yeah. Ooh, they're putting the oon in the dragoon.
Yeah, exactly. What are they serving? Are they serving fish? No, they're serving dragoon. All right. So she marries him off, and we don't know this guy's name.
Okay.
We think his first name is Johann.
Johann and Marta.
And his last name's either Cruz or Rab. Rabbe.
Oh, all right.
All right. Again, we don't know. You know why?
Why? Because they don't keep records on her?
Because she's a woman.
Yeah.
And it's 1702. Mm-hmm. So, this actually doesn't matter.
All right.
Because in 8 days,
all right,
Johann and the entire Swedish army fucking leave.
Where'd they go?
They just fucked off. They lost.
Oh, and so they left her?
They just rolled out of town. Well, because I think that it's not very clear from the places I was reading, but I feel like they rolled out in a hurry. Okay. And so they probably had to leave behind their baggage train.
They ran away.
It just said withdrew.
Yeah.
But it felt like, well, we're bravely withdrawing.
Okay, you're leaving in the middle of the night. Got it.
So that's when the Russian army shows up. Now, again, we were talking about the Great Northern War. The Great Northern War is a 21-year long conflict.
Okay.
It all started. And it's a war between the Swedish Empire and basically everyone else in Eastern Europe.
All right.
So it's Sweden.
Sweden against the world?
Yeah. And the thing is in this case, it's because everyone else is bags of dicks. Because the Swedish Empire was all right from what I can read.
Yeah.
And, obviously it's still an empire, so it's still, not holding some groups of people in bondage and things like that. But the people who they were fighting are the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, Saxony, Norway, Denmark, the Norway-Denmark, configuration, and the Russian Empire.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
So they're all going head to head. And the reason because of this is because there's a new king of Sweden, and his name is Charles the 12th. And the thing about Charles the 12th...
That's not a very Swedish name.
Well, there's 12 so far. 12 Charles kings of Sweden.
It just doesn't feel Swedish. It doesn't feel like I'd go into IKEA and find a chair called the Charles.
How about this? Charles? Is that better? Charles?
Lots over top of the A.
Charles the 12th.
There you go. Okay.
That better?
Thank you.
All right. That's more Swedish?
Yeah.
Bork, bork. That better?
Yeah, perfect.
All right. No one will write in about me doing that. But Nevada. So the thing is Charles, he was incredibly young. But not problematically young. So sometimes when a kid's 8, 9, 10 years old and they become the king, they get a regent and they're given their uncle or there's a cousin who also has military prowess. Charles is 18 when he becomes king.
Okay.
So there isn't really a regency at all. There's a council, but there isn't a regency, and he's just given the army, and everyone's yo. And he's kind of balding.
Balding? Oh, what a bummer.
Yeah, he has issues. When you look at him, you're yo, I can take this fucking nerd. And the thing is about Charles is from reading about him, he's not fun.
Oh, see, what?
He's imagine a very studious 18-year-old kid. All he cares about, the analytics of war. You know what I mean? He's super into reading war theory and doing army stuff. He's not super into girls, any of this type of stuff. He just loves military stuff. He's we put on our clean fancy coats and we march in circles and maybe squares.
Oh, okay.
And if we get really fucking crazy,
all right,
we'll do a triangle.
Oh shit, not
that's
a triangle.
Fucking wild time.
All right, that's crazy.
And the thing is everyone like looked at this guy's like, yo, we could all fuck this dude up. Like that's every nation, but especially one dude.
Okay.
And this guy, not Russian. This guy.
I was really thinking it was going to be the Russians.
I know you really were. You really were thinking. This guy's name is Augustus II. Augustus II.
Augustus II.
Yes, he's also known as Augustus the Strong.
Oh, see, he's got a banger of a nickname.
Yeah, now let me read you his full title. This is his full translated title from Wikipedia. Okay. Augustus II, by the grace of God, King of Poland, Grand Duke of Lithuania, Ruthenia, Prussia, Masovia, Samagitia, Livonia, Kiev, Volhynia, Podolia, Podlakia, Smolensk, Severia, and Cherniv, and hereditary Duke and Elector of Saxony.
Shit, dude.
Yeah.
That was the intro every time?
That was the intro. Every time this dude walked in the room, like, ladies and gentlemen, presenting Augustus, by the grace of God, King of Poland, Grand Duke of Lithuania, Ruthenia, Prussia, Masovia. Why am I sounding like Trump? That's got weird there.
Whoa.
But anyway, he's also the hereditary Duke and Elector of Saxony, which means he's part of the Holy Roman Empire, which is really Germany back then.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's all this crazy stuff. Now, this is an exact paragraph I lifted from Wikipedia. Augustus's great physical strength earned him the nicknames the Strong, the Saxon Hercules, and Iron Hand.
Iron Hand, that's a good one.
Yeah, Augustus Iron Hand.
Oh, man.
That feels a little Warhammer-y.
Can I call him Gus?
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 Absolutely not.
Come on.
You do not want to call this man Gus.
I ain't scared of him. He long dead.
Okay.
Come for me, Gus.
He's long dead?
He's long dead.
You're not worried about the King of Prussia?
No, dude, what?
All right.
The King of Prussia Mall. What?
Whoa. I shop in your corpse. All right. So one of his things, so he liked to show off how strong he was. And he was a big, strong, strapping dude.
Yeah.
And one of the ways he liked to show off how strong he was by breaking horseshoes with his bare hands.
Okay, honestly, that's pretty
like he'd
strong.
pick up horseshoes and just fucking rip them in
strong,
half.
Dude.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say something funny like fights bears, but like ripping a horseshoe.
Funny story.
Okay.
Funny story.
Okay.
He was also super into fox tossing.
What the fuck is fox tossing?
Oh.
Is it like cornhole with foxes?
You were so close. It's so insane. I want to stress to everyone. Before video games were invented, a lot of people blame a lot of the world stuff on video games.
Yeah.
Before television, video games, movies, the printing press.
Yeah.
Right? Well, they had the printing press back then. So we'll go with movies, television, and video games. I want to let you know that the pastime of rich people was animal abuse and sexual assault.
Yeah. I mean, nothing's changed.
Nothing has changed at all.
We all go to see Barbie. They're still doing the same thing on hunting humans on islands or some shit.
Or maybe going to a dry lake bed where they can take Molly and fuck each other. So anyway.
Tell me about this fox game.
So fox tossing. I had to look it up because I was like, don't tell me he's like picking up foxes like Nerf footballs and just winging them at bitches. No. So what they would do is you would get these long sheets. So they're about like a 2-foot long piece of fabric. Okay. So 2 foot wide, sorry. And about 20 to 25 feet across. All right. And what they would do is they would hold these sheets, and typically it'd be a man and a woman. Because this is a game you play with your ladies.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And what they would do is they would let a fox go. They'd chase a fox across. And then you were both supposed to grab each end. And then as the fox crosses the sheet, pull as hard as possible.
So it slingshots into the air?
So it slingshots the fucking fox into the air.
This is what we used to do with the parachute when we were in like kindergarten.
Yes.
Right?
No, it's the parachute.
It's the parachute.
Except it's a 2-person parachute.
Okay.
And the idea is you're murdering an animal.
So you got it.
Because it sounds fun. It sounds funny, right? But I looked it up, and they said the highest that they ever tossed one was 7.5 meters into the air.
Holy shit.
which is like we're talking like stories. That's like 2 stories into the air, so 20 plus feet.
So they both pulled at the same time,
as fast and as hard as possible,
so that it slingshots the fox into the air.
Yes, and then they giggle and they're like, "Look at the fox!" And then it would land and break its back or be bludgeoned or whatever.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't completely dead, then they'd have either they or their servants would run up, giggling, and smash the animal to death.
Yeah.
So here's how Augustus did it, though.
Oh, Gus had a different
strategy.
Oh, shit.
So, you heard I told you, like, one hand on each side.
Yeah.
Gus, one finger, and just his thumb. He'd pinch
it. Okay.
And then he'd have 2 strong guys on the other side. And he would just hold it. So when the fox would come across, he would just pull a little bit.
Yeah.
And so he would fling them in the air with just using his one finger. Wow. And they were like, that's how, because this is how it said, engaging in fox tossing by holding the end of his sling with just one finger while 2 of the strongest men in his court held the other end. He's also notable for fathering a very large number of other children. A famous tossing contest that Augustus held in Dresden.
All right.
At which 647 foxes.
Okay, they're depleting the fox. What's it called? Like
stock
ecosystem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they're basically over. Because again, this is also going back to like the idea of fox hunting.
So many fucking rabbits next year.
Well, funny story.
No.
Because they also killed 533 rabbits.
Oh my god.
34 badgers.
What did the badgers do?
And 21 wildcats.
What?
Yeah. So one of the things
this is how you get a bubonic plague, because now you got nothing but rats.
Yeah. Because this is why we needed rat terriers. We had to breed rat terriers.
Okay, that was a really
because
fun
rich
moment
people
on TikTok for me.
Oh, when you saw the British rat terriers killing rats?
Well, no, because I got into the whole algorithm of nothing but British people with rat terriers attacking rats. It was so crazy. It was like 2 days. I couldn't see anything else.
So again, I just want to be clear.
Okay, they're slingshotting
They're
critters
slingshotting, and this Augustus II is considered Augustus the Strong. At this time, he is the P. Diddy of Europe. Like
He's the coolest dude.
Everyone's like, dude, this guy, oh my God. We went over to his house. We got hammered. We started fox tossing. Then he just started fucking everybody in front of us because he had, some contemporary sources said, he had between 365 and 382 bastard kids.
Woo, that's a full-time job.
While constantly losing wars. Like, this dude just got hammered, fucked, killed things, and people were like, God chose him.
Yeah, God chose that one for sure.
Now, the reason why...
You forgot that he's also just like, at the starting of all of this, like when the party started, he's like, let's pop the keg, boys, and then he breaks a horseshoe and uses half of the horseshoe to slam the keg open.
Yeah. Honestly, like, sometimes when you think about the Disney shows and stuff like that, like they'll talk about who's the bad guy from Beauty and the Beast? Gaston. And, some people think like, oh, I've heard a few people argue he's like too scary for kids.
Yeah.
But I'm like, August II, right here. August the Strong. I started reading into him a little bit. His life is fucking weird. I don't know if there's enough there for like a full deep dive podcast.
Yeah.
But I wanted to really highlight. As I heard about this dude, I'm like, I gotta highlight this dude.
You know what's crazy is like if you are one of the people that did like the 23andMe or whatever, and
you came back to this dude,
fucking kids. That dude probably has a big carbon footprint when it comes to kids out there.
Yeah, I mean he doesn't. He's no Genghis Khan, but he's definitely been around.
Okay, well, I think we all got the Genghis Khan. Right?
I think they say what, like 1/10 of the world.
Yeah,
something crazy.
I do.
Well, why? You're gonna do it?
No, I think one of
Don't you give anybody your DNA?
No, one of my family
The only
members
people who
did.
get your DNA are me.
Whoa, that's a really weird, creepy thing to say.
And it's a very direct threat. Give me that DNA.
Oh, God. Okay, what's next?
Okay, so I brought up Augustus and his partying ways.
Yeah.
Because, again, like I said, he's not a great wartime leader. He's big and he's strong, and he keeps fucking up. But he was such a party animal that he became very good friends with Peter I of Russia.
Okay, Peter, party animal dude.
Yes.
Loved it. Was fighting bears for a good time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I want to go back here to Marta.
I was wondering what Marta's doing.
Yeah, so Marta...
Probably helping clean up dead foxes,
again, it's not clear what's going on with Marta.
She got abandoned by her flyby husband.
Yeah, so it's basically so the Swedish dude fucks off. He's like, I gotta go get meatballs, and he runs away. And again, there's a lot of rumors. A lot of rumors and insinuations about what happens to Marta. Because one rumor is that she became a laundry woman in the Russian field marshal's camp.
Okay.
There's also other rumors that she traveled with the minister that she used to work for, that she traveled with him as he worked as a translator for the Russian army.
Okay.
There's also another rumor that she was taken and stripped down to her undergarments and presented to the brigadier general of the Russian army to be made into his mistress, or she became his maid.
Okay.
We literally don't know.
I mean,
we have no idea. And the thing is, again, because of the history back then, all you really get is rumors and innuendo. But what's important is that she ends up making it to Moscow.
Okay.
So she goes from, that small area over there on the coast of the Baltic Sea.
Yeah.
She's now in Moscow, and it's 1702.
All right.
When she gets there, she eventually joins the household of Prince Alexander Menshikov.
All right.
Now, this guy is the best friend of Peter the First.
A lot of people being best friends with Peter out here.
Yeah, Peter's actually like really good at making friends.
Yeah.
He's also really good at murdering them.
Yeah.
Because like if you fucking cross him, it's done.
That's how you know you got best friends.
Yeah. He's like, we best friends. Like,
we best friends.
You want to build bunk beds? Peter, I'm like, you're dead.
Yeah.
Like that's.
I'll use your bones to build the bunk bed.
Yeah. Now, again, we have no idea about Marta's relationship with, I'm going to call him Menshikov from here on out.
Okay,
Menshi. We don't know what their true relationship is. We don't know if she was actually his mistress. We don't know if she just worked there or anything. But she's a woman in a country where serfdom is legal.
Yep.
And she's a woman.
Yep.
And it's 1702. So we don't know.
Yeah.
It could be better than we expect. Could be worse.
It's not going to be better.
It's Russian.
Yeah.
So part of the things with Menshikov is this guy, he's a little bit of a schemer, a little bit of a plotter.
Okay.
So again, there's other rumors and innuendo. Because one of the things is that Menshikov, he doesn't like Peter the First's mistresses. They're a little... Yeah, because,
Why does he have opinions on them?
Well, because, mistresses get in a ruler's ear, and they might say something. They'll be like, yo, that Menshikov guy, he's a... I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't think he's good at war. I'm just saying, like, dear, that's very nice. I'll maybe fire him. Maybe I'll do the weird stuff. That's only for my birthday. Yeah, that type of thing. Like that was kind of his worry. Okay. And so there's a rumor that he set up Peter the First to meet Marta at his house, hoping that Peter would fall in love with her. And then he would have a control over Peter also in the bedroom.
So he wasn't afraid of the other ones. He knew the power of them and he wanted an insider.
Yes.
Got it.
100%. That's what the claim is. Again, we have no way of knowing.
He was like, let me get a spy in there.
Yeah, it's a lot of court intrigue. This is an emperor we're talking about. This is a czar we're talking about. So in 1703, Peter finally meets Marta.
Okay.
At Menshikov's home.
And he's like, mid.
Yeah. Now, let me tell you the one thing.
I'm kidding.
I know, it's not what he said. Let's say the one thing that I am thankful for.
What?
In the history of this podcast, of everything we've talked about so far.
What?
When Peter the First meets Marta, she is 18.
Whoa.
So, you know what, just for Russian history's sake.
Let's go.
18. That's all we can fucking...
Listen,
listen.
That part of her brain isn't fully developed, but she's allowed to vote in America but in the time she doesn't live.
We're here for bare minimum, baby!
The bar is on the floor.
So, before she could officially become his mistress, I mean, they clearly fuck, but before she could get the official title...
So he walks in, and
he walks in.
Whoa!
Because again, the part of what they said is that Menshikov, knows Peter's taste.
Yeah.
So he's like, got it.
So Menshi could have been like, when she was just doing laundry, and he was looking at her, and he was like, yo, let me get you in my house.
I like to think of it more as that Freddie Prinze Jr. movie where he walked over, he's like, you look better with your hair down.
Oh,
one of those. She's all that. Yeah.
Okay, take the glasses and the ponytail off.
Yeah.
Boom,
oh, look.
hottie.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Boom, hottie.
Who knew this incredibly attractive woman who's wearing glasses and overalls is attractive even more when she take off the glasses and overalls?
If only she would stop talking.
Oh.
Okay, so.
So, to become the official mistress, because there's a title for that.
Oh, she got the karate black belt certificate in mistress?
You proud of yourself?
She got the GED cert from community college.
So before she could do that, she had to convert to Russian Orthodoxy.
Oh, bummer, dude.
Yeah.
Woo!
She got to go through a full Russian Orthodox conversion.
That is a mess. That is a mess.
Yeah, that's a lot that is all standing.
Without going too much into my personal life, some of my family is Russian Orthodox.
Yeah.
When I was very young, I had one family member that would take us, and it was like, if you found out that aunt was like, oh, we're going to pick up the kids, you'd be like, I'm sick. Anything but that. Send me to the Catholic Mass. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I always fell for it, though. Because you would stand there for 2 hours listening to Russian that you didn't understand. And it was so long and boring and painful as a child. But fresh pierogies and kibasi afterwards. So your girl still went. Nice. Your girl was like, all right, I guess.
So,
yeah, I would do.
The only thing I really know about Orthodox is I've never been to Orthodox service, but I've seen stuff in things. And the biggest thing I would see, I remember Total Divas. on E.
Not Total Divas.
Yeah. Remember Lana?
Yeah.
CJ, who is Miro, whatever, the one wrestler.
Yeah.
He's Bulgarian.
Yeah.
And she got married in America and in Bulgaria.
Yeah.
And she had to go get baptized in the Bulgarian Orthodox Church.
Yep.
And they had to have a Bulgarian wedding.
Yep.
And she was like, the baptism, she was just wet. They just put her in a dunk tank. And she just had to sit there like as some dude berated her.
Yep.
In Bulgarian for like an hour.
Yep.
And then the actual wedding was like the most boring thing I've ever seen. It was just a series of, like, it was this beautiful countryside. Everyone's gorgeous.
Yeah.
The food looks stunning. And they're all just standing there looking fucking miserable. I was like,
they're just like, Orthodox. Get to the part where we get to eat the golubkis.
Yeah. So anyway, she gets baptized and she converts to Russian Orthodoxy.
Okay.
Where she is now no longer known as Marta Helena Skowronska.
Okay, new name.
She is now Yekaterina Alexievna.
Ooh.
Which is, in English, is Catherine.
Okay, yeah.
So now she's officially, Katerina is now Catherine.
Got her, Catherine.
A year later, 1704, at 19, she gives birth to her first child with Peter.
Okay.
Who they named Peter.
Perfect. Peter, he doesn't seem like an egomaniac at all.
Not at all. Yep.
How many other Peters did he have?
We'll get into that.
Okay, because
so here's the thing. So I've been calling him Peter the First, but most people will know him as Peter the Great.
Yeah.
He is a turning point in Russian history. He's the one who basically converts Russia from Eastern looking to more Western looking, and he does so much. So I want to talk a little bit about Peter the Great to give a concept to the listeners of the world that this woman just walked into.
Okay.
So the first thing you need to know is that when Peter was 10 years old, there was a vote of the nobles to name Peter the Tsar of Russia. Okay. When he was 10. He was then taken in front of the people. And the people of Moscow then accepted him as the Russian Tsar. Okay. And so this is an important time because back then, we think of Russia today as the giant landmass. Yeah. It wasn't that big back then. Yeah. It really is more or less the Principality of Moscow. Russia today, like the actual old Russia was like the size of like Texas. Imagine Texas then taking over the rest of the country. I mean, terrifying.
Listen,
but that's kind of
their plan.
Yeah, that's kind of the plan. They're doing it through the textbooks.
Oh no.
But that was a big part of it, and there was a palace coup. Okay. There is a group of elite
against the 10-year-old.
Yes.
Okay.
There is a group of elite. There's an elite Russian military corps back then called the Streltsky.
Oh,
that's their name.
That sounds like some type of cookie I would eat.
It does, yeah. It's Streltsky. These guys threw a coup And they murdered a ton of Peter's family in front of him, horrifically.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're not talking about just like little stabs. I mean, like chop them up, running down the hallways, carrying limbs, beheading people, tossing him the head. He's 10.
Okay.
And they did all of this so that way Peter's half-sister, Sophia, could install herself as a regent. And she declared that Peter wasn't the only czar. She said that his brother, Ivan, was the co-czar.
You don't co-czar.
Well,
when you're czaring, there's only one.
So the problem is that
also, how old's Sophia?
Sophia's older. Okay. She's in like her 30s. The reason, and Ivan is the older brother. He's actually over 18, but he's mentally incapacitated.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
So she's trying to use Ivan as a puppet for her own power scheme.
Yes, because the whole thing is Peter is actually the younger son from the second marriage of the prior czar. Ivan and Sophia are from the first marriage.
Got it.
So they're like, no, we want to protect the line. And he's like, no. And this is really important because this is the Romanov dynasty.
Yeah.
Because it's the Romanov family at this point. They had an issue about 100 years prior of them not having a family, like royal family anymore. And a bunch of people called the false Dimitris kept showing up. Where everyone kept being like, Dimitri's dead. And then a guy would show up and he's like, hello, I'm Dimitri now. And everyone's like, no, you're not. You're Polish.
Wait, isn't that what happens in Adam's family?
Yes, that is exactly what happened in Adam's family with Uncle
Fester.
Uncle Fester, yeah.
They just Uncle Festered over and over again.
They just kept doing it.
Oh my God.
So this happens when Peter is 10. The coup gives Peter PTSD. They don't have a term for that back then, but he does have noticeable facial tics the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Probably not helping things, but also probably partially related. He also suffers from epileptic seizures.
Okay.
These are both kind of state secrets. So he has a weird tic, and then he grows up to be 6'8".
Shit, that's fucking tall, dude.
Yeah. He's the same height as my dad.
Listen.
So that's
fucking tall, dude.
Yeah, he's a giant of a man.
With a bit of a tic.
With a bit of a tic.
Okay.
At 16... he's then, he keeps like sneaking out and he's like to be among the people.
So when he's 16, is he czar or co-czar?
He's still co-czar.
He's co-czar.
But he doesn't really have power, but he also like doesn't seem to care. Because he's like, whatever, I'm rich. Like he looks around the rest of Russia. He's like, I'm still doing good.
Yeah.
Like here's the one thing is the one thing I'll give him, because like he later... They're all crazy because absolute power makes you go fucking nuts.
Yeah.
But he can constantly look around. He's like, well, I'm not fucking you. That would suck, dude. Have you seen your life? You're a fucking serf. P.U. I have soap. Like.
It's made of fresh bear fat.
Ugh. Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me go sit down here with my every meal that has meat in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Rich.
Yeah, I fucking. Have you met money?
No, they
haven't. They literally don't know what money is.
To have it.
Yeah, potatoes are a delicacy.
Oh, they are a delicacy.
But back then, I mean, like they're like pretty new, like pretty new on the scene.
We're pretty close to post potato.
No, we're post potato, but it's like it still takes time to spread.
Yeah,
it doesn't spread like one of my TikToks within hours.
Wow,
it takes centuries.
Ego, wow.
So at 16, he finds a boat.
What the fuck? Okay.
He finds a British boat.
Oh, he finds a British. Why the fuck is there a British
There's
boat
just like
in
an
Russia?
abandoned British boat. Like it's British made.
Okay.
And he finds it and he gets like fascinated with it.
Yeah.
Peter's like, oh my God, this fucking boat. It's the coolest thing. And then I can't remember if he found it or if somebody gives him a sextant.
What the?
It's not what you think it is.
What did you just say?
It is an astronomy thing that sailors use to figure out their position when traveling.
Like a night compass?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, It's like one of those. He doesn't know how to use it, but he's like, this thing is the coolest thing ever.
Okay.
It reminds me very much, and the way it's described, you know when you're watching a post-apocalyptic movie, right? Mm-hmm. And there's like the guy who survives and he's like thrown like 30 years into the future and now it's Mad Max world, right? Yeah. And then there's somebody who's like, using a Game Boy wrong. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then someone comes by, it's like, ugh. The guy's like, no, because I have the power of the talking box. And he's like, it's for Mario.
Yeah.
You know? That's Peter the First with a sextant. Like, he can't figure it out.
No idea what he's looking at.
No idea what he's looking at.
Yeah.
But he's like fascinated by it. So he goes out of his way to like find out more about the world. So this is what starts him down the path of like, I want to know what Europe is.
Okay.
Because again, the entire time he's looking around, he's like, this place kind of fucking sucks. I'm rich as shit. I should be able to leave.
Yeah.
Now in 1689, at the same year, Marta's parents were dying of the bubonic plague.
Yep.
When she was 5 years old.
Because there's so many plagues because they're killing all the animals.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Peter was 17.
Okay.
And he was married off to his wife.
All right.
Her name is Eudoxia Fyodorovna Lupkina.
You just said so many things.
Yes, but Eudoxia is her first name.
Eudoxia?
Eudoxia.
Woo.
Yeah, Eudoxia.
EU.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the things they did in Russia, which I find kind of fascinating, is they basically had a royal game show every time they needed to pick a new wife for the Tsar.
Okay, wait, that sounds cool.
Yeah, so what they would do is they basically have this thing where all of the lower noble houses had to send their eligible daughters to be picked out by and picked over by like the Tsar's family.
Yeah.
So they all sent it. Now the game's kind of like
rigged.
Yeah. And the reason for that is because there's obviously favorites and there's obviously bribes and there's already obviously money being changed hands. But one of the big things is none of the upper level families are going to win.
Okay.
It's one of the only ways for a lower level family to move up in the noble system.
Yeah.
And the reason you want a lower level family is, number one, it's bringing new blood into the family line.
So they stop getting all the weird faces.
Yeah, and eventually bleeding diseases.
Okay.
Which will end the entire Tsardom of Russia. But the other thing is that way
they're more hungry for it.
That actually is true.
They
really
hungry.
are. But also, if one of the rich nobles, if one of the rich nobles' daughters marries the Tsar, well, then everyone's going to think that rich noble has more power. So there's like a good level of like peace because everyone's kind of equal. So you bring up somebody lower.
I'm picturing this and I don't know if you're going to be able to understand, but when you're describing this game to me, it is the middle portion of the classic film with Drew Barrymore, Ever After, when her and her sisters are trying to get with the prince, so they're going to watch the tennis games, and the mom is desperately trying to get the really pretty blonde daughter.
Yes.
And the other daughter's like, you're just here for the food, and she's just to help. It's an incredible movie I want to watch now that we've said it out loud.
It's like that, except remove all of the fun.
Yeah.
It's Russian.
Yeah.
So there's probably like some
cold
bear baiting, a lot of being yelled out and bear baiting.
Bear baiting?
Yes.
What's bear baiting?
It's where you bait a bear out and then you kill it.
Okay.
Usually using dogs.
What?
Listen.
Why are the animals so upset?
They didn't have video games.
Okay.
Can I explain? Do you not get this? There's a reason we made video games.
I don't play video games, and yet I have never decided that this was something I wanted to do.
Okay, well, you've never been bored, clearly.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Why do you think... Have you not even noticed in the video games all we do is torture animals?
No.
Mario is jumping on turtles.
Although I will say, during the pandemic, when I got real sad and I want to play Animal Crossing,
and you tortured them animals.
I wanted to torture that fucking bear, the one that was in charge of the whole system. I forget his name. You know the one.
Yeah, I do.
Because I was like, this whole game is an MLM, and he's just making me pay up the upline.
We've been down this before,
and I want to get him.
Okay.
That's why I don't play video games.
Let's get back to the story.
Okay.
All right.
Bear baiting.
So, he's married to Eudoxia. Again, she's from a lower level family. She is described as a frumpy conservative Russian noblewoman.
Okay, cool.
From a very conservative background.
Great.
Peter fucking hates her.
Yeah, I bet. He wants to go on adventures.
He wants to go on adventures. He wants to look at the stars. He wants to go sailing. I'm like, why sail when we have wheat?
Oh, yeah.
She gives birth to 3 children.
Okay, so she's good at her job.
2 of them die immediately.
I take it back.
But the eldest, the first one, did survive.
All right.
He's also named Peter.
Okay.
And Peter, our Peter the Great, fucking hates this kid.
He hates his kid. He hates his firstborn son.
Hates him.
Oh my god.
So much.
Why does he hate him?
We'll get into it.
Oh, okay.
Now, this next part is a little important because we're around that time when he's, 17. Peter didn't believe in miracles.
Okay.
He's part of, the Russian Orthodox Church, and he's dealing with a lot of different stuff, but Peter is a man of, he believes himself to be a man of science.
So is this like the British royalty where they're like the head of the church? Like
kind of like he can choose bishops and stuff like that.
So he should believe
part of this
hype.
Yeah, he really should because it's a big thing holding up his crown.
Got it, yeah.
I mean, remember also that the big thing with the Russian Orthodox Church is once the Byzantine Empire, in Constantinople, when that church falls, it's the idea and the title of Tsar Caesar moves from there to Russia.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff tied in with this. But Peter doesn't believe in the icons, and a lot of people believe in Russia, especially at the time, that you can put your hands on an icon, you'll be healed. Just a picture of Jesus or a picture of Mary or any of this different stuff. So he founds his own group.
Oh no!
All right, this group is called, quote, the All Joking, All Drunken, Synod of Fools and Jesters.
Okay, so the Flying Spaghetti Monster crew?
Basically, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. He would often get hammered with these dudes. This was this was his group text that is called The Boys.
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe it.
It was his frat.
It really was. And so at 18, he founds this. In 1695, he refuses to partakes in some traditional Russian Orthodox ceremonies, and he's just doing a lot of stuff with that because he's I can get fucking wasted.
Yeah,
and also he has power
instead of hanging out with his boring wife.
Well, and he has power and he doesn't.
Yeah,
he's well, if you kill me, then the people who are actually in power don't have power. It'll start a civil war, so I can just do whatever I want. Fuck you.
Nice.
No one can really tell me anything, but I also can't really do much.
Yeah, you can't tell me shit.
Yeah. In 1697, he finally travels to Europe.
Okay.
And so Peter spends 18 months traveling across all of Europe.
So he took a space
sabbatical
year from college.
Yeah, it's his gap year.
Yeah.
In 18 months, he travels all around. He learns a shit ton about boats. Obsessed with boats. He spends a couple months working as an apprentice for a cannon maker.
Okay.
He gets obsessed with military stuff. And one of his favorite things to do, though, is he keeps pretending he's not Peter the Great.
Okay.
And, he'll have his guards and stuff like that, but he hasn't keep a distance. He's like, no, I am just some guy. Look at me. I just need a job. And everyone's like, you're 6'8".
You're very clearly.
You're a 6'8" Russian. And he's like, no, I am.
He's wearing furs.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's dressed like a crazy person.
Yeah.
And so he slowly starts to take this in about how much he and his group stick out.
Yeah.
He's like, we don't look like he's like, as he's traveling to different parts of Europe, he's noticing there is basically a Western European dress, and then there's an Eastern European dress. And the technology in Western Europe is so much further than where it is in Russia, much less in Eastern Europe. And so he's looking around, he's taking all this stuff in. He's these people wear wigs. Nobody has beards. Yeah. He's noticing all of this different stuff. He's they all have navies. Their militaries aren't made up of drunks. All these things he starts putting together.
That part, I don't know.
He's just starting to put, at least not during the parades.
Yeah.
So he starts to put all this different stuff together. And so he travels. And then as he's traveling, he starts hiring people to come back to Russia with him. He starts coming up with grand plans. And when he's at a party with Augustus.
Oh, Gus.
Yeah.
All right, Gus is back.
So he's back with Augustus the Strong in 1698. And he gets word that the Streltsy have rebelled again.
Okay.
Remember the elite Russian military corps that murdered his family 8 years prior. And Peter goes, bet.
Okay, yeah.
At this point, he just found out that his stepsister, who was the regent, she gone.
She's out?
She's out. He's now strong enough. Yeah. And he now has enough.
And he knows a lot about boats.
And he knows a shit ton. So he rolls back, suppresses.
With Gus?
Without Gus.
Oh, okay.
He rolls back on his own. He leaves the fox tossing party a little early, goes back to Russia. he suppresses the rebellion, disbands the Streltsy, and has 1,200 of them massacred in the middle of St. Petersburg, in the middle of Red Square, where he has them tortured, flayed alive, ripped apart, desecrated, and the rest of them are sent to the east to be in prison camps.
Yeah. You know what? The Russians been torturing the same way since day one.
Yeah.
They're going to send you to Siberia or they're going to peel your skin off. And there's no in-betweens.
So that's 1698.
Yeah.
That same year, he then finally turns back to Eudoxia, who he has been begging for a while now.
Okay.
Fucking divorce me.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay.
This isn't working.
I don't like
We
it.
hate each other.
Yeah. Okay.
And also, she's like, yeah, and I hate your mistresses. Because he's got mistresses.
I bet he does.
He got racks on racks on racks of mistresses.
Yeah, it literally has different area codes now.
Yeah.
He's expanded.
And in like 1698, he finally has enough power that he declares that he's divorced from Eudoxia and sends her away to a nunnery.
Okay. Honestly, I feel like, based on the very little we know about her, she probably loved that.
It sounds like it was...
Because, like, she's conservative.
Yeah.
She's big in
It's
her
not great,
religion.
but here's the thing is, honestly, out of all the women that he doesn't like in his life, being sent to a nunnery for
Easy
Peter the Great,
peasy.
that's a pretty good
Flayed
deal.
alive, Siberia, or a nunnery.
Yeah.
Bet.
Yeah. So which brings us back to 1704.
Okay.
Now, our girl Marta.
I've been wondering where she was.
She's Catherine.
Caddy.
It's she just gave birth to their first son.
Peter.
The
other Peter. Okay.
And Peter the Great has finally begun work on his dream.
Okay.
Building the city of St. Petersburg in the middle of a marsh, in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
Because he really wants to have a port because Russia doesn't have a navy. And this man is obsessed with fucking navies.
Okay.
And he builds this port to the Baltic.
Got it.
And while they're building that, Catherine, and Peter, the Tsar of Russia, are living in a small little log cabin playing husband and wife with their children.
Peters.
And just being happy.
They're having the time of their lives.
And that's where we're going to take a break.
Oh, we're taking a little break? That's nice.
We're going to take a little break right here because I think we got some stuff we got to go run down and take care of.
Yeah, I got to go feed the pets.
Yeah. We'll take a break right here, and when we come back, we will continue the story of Catherine. We're back.
Yeah.
And for the listeners, that was just a few seconds. But for us, it was hours.
It was a long time.
Because two things happened today.
Okay.
Number one, which is we finally tried to set up and use our smoker.
Oh, yep.
That somebody gave us.
Yeah, it was a hand-me-down.
Yeah, it was a hand-me-down. They're like, hey, we've had it on our back porch for a while. And, it works. And
it was also full of wasps when they gave it to us.
It was full of wasps.
So I had killed all the wasps.
White Anglo-Saxon Protestants.
Yep.
And today I finally hooked it up to a propane tank.
Well, that's
and it almost exploded.
Unfair. Yesterday I spent the day scrubbing it clean so that it didn't have any more bugs in it because the beetle bugs took over. And I had to clean off some rust. So I got it all clean. And then this morning I was like, let's hook this bad boy up to propane. So we can make sure it works.
And then fire started coming out of the wrong part of the place.
That was bad. And we said, you know what? Never mind.
Yeah, I said, no, I'm not doing this. And then we looked it up and decided to actually buy a smoker. And then you made wings while we were recording the first part.
Yeah. So we had to go eat the smoked chicken wings.
We ate the smoked chicken wings. And then because of the timing of everything, I only had half my research done. So I finished the second half of my research. And that was actually fun because now I kind of understand the questions and where you're leading with stuff.
Oh, okay.
So that's good.
Nice.
So it's been like a couple hours.
Yeah. So I have a tummy full of chicken and I feel great and ready to go.
Yeah. And I just showed you a picture of what the fox.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah. There's a picture of it on Wikipedia.
It looks like that image looks like you would see it on like a blue and white plate that you would buy.
Yeah,
and they serve food.
They make the foxes look like they're having a good time.
The foxes are having a great time.
But they're being tossed like 10 yards into the air.
Yeah.
They're like 20, 30 feet in the air to fall and then be beaten to death.
That's not fun.
Yeah. One fun thing about the fox tossing thing I was looking up is they said it wasn't great to use more like mountain lions. Like mid-size, like ocelots and stuff like that. Said not great.
No.
Because when they land, they land on their feet.
Yeah, the cat, and then they're upset.
And then they will latch on to people and won't let go with their mouths and claws.
Yeah, because they're upset.
Yeah. So I feel like there was definitely one rich dude who was killed by an ocelot.
Yeah, good.
Who was but giggling about it, like Burning Man.
Yeah.
Oh no! All right. So I have 2 corrections.
Oh, okay.
Which I discovered. First thing, remember when I said that Peter the Great had his first son was with Eudoxia? Mm-hmm. I accidentally said that the son's name was Peter.
Yeah, we said it was Peter.
No, it's actually Alexi.
Alexi.
Yes.
Very different than Peter.
Yes, it's Alexi Petrovich.
Okay.
Peter will come up later.
Okay.
And also, I said that Charles the 12th of Sweden was 18 when he took the throne.
Yeah.
That was incorrect.
Oh, okay.
He was 15 when he took the throne.
Balding at 15.
Yeah, he was going back. His hair was going back a little bit.
Sorry, bud.
And but he was right around 18 when the war started.
Got it.
So that part was like kind of right. I just accidentally flubbed that. So where were we?
They were living in a log cabin having a great time.
Yes, because he had just founded St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
So one thing you need to know about St. Petersburg is that Peter did not name it after himself.
Okay.
He named it after St. Peter.
Yeah.
Who happens to have the same name as himself.
Sure.
But he believed that St. Peter was like his personal patron saint because they had the same name.
That's pretty Catholic of him.
It is pretty
Catholic. That's
Catholic.
Catholic energy to pick your patron saint.
Well, and that's one thing that's actually will become important when we go through Peter's younger life. Mm-hmm. A lot of the people he hung out with were foreigners to Russia.
Yeah.
So he turned more to foreigners and more to Europeans than his fellow Russians because the fellow Russians were all running to his stepsister Sophia.
Yeah. Okay.
And because of that's, the ruling nobles and all this different stuff, a lot of people just kept thinking he would be murdered.
Yep.
So the fact that he was able to, actually overtake the regency and be able to take back power, and then, which also I read, he's actually the one, Peter, pushed Sophia into a nunnery.
She sent her to a nunnery too?
Yeah, so when the Streltsy tried to do the overthrow,
okay,
by saying that Peter was godless and he was hanging out with Europe too much and he didn't like some of his ideas, bring back Sophia was one of the things they chanted.
Oh.
And so he showed up to her palace while murdering a bunch of the Streltsy.
Sure.
Tortured them.
Yep.
In front of the building.
Yep, okay.
Including tying them to the front of and staking them to the front of her palace. So she could reach out the window and touch them.
Oh, why?
As they begged her.
Oh, no.
For help.
Oh, no.
And then he was like, yeah, so nunnery? And she was like, yeah, nunnery. I'm going to go.
Okay, this explains a lot about my experience in Catholic school with nuns.
Yeah.
Because they were not nice. Yeah. And they were not having a good time.
But did you think about butchering their elite military corps?
I'm not answering that question.
Tacking them to the building.
I'm not saying I didn't think that.
But
what I'm saying is their motivation, now we got 2 new nuns who don't want to be nuns.
Yeah.
They don't want to deal with little kids.
Yeah.
Learning stuff. And so now in my mind, all of the nuns that were mean to me
were war criminals.
Who were sent to the nunnery.
It's pretty accurate, actually. So the 3-bedroom log cabin.
Okay, yeah.
It has its own Wikipedia page.
Oh, really?
I realized that after we were talking.
Is it that cute?
It's actually pretty cute. It was constructed in only 3 days by the Russian military. It was built and it was used from 1703 to 1708.
Okay, not a long time.
But they lived there together as a couple in that 3-bedroom cabin for 5 years while Peter oversaw the building of St. Petersburg. Okay. A couple things to note about St. Petersburg is, number one, Peter banned the use of any building material that wasn't wood in the rest of Russia during this time because he wanted to force all the masons and better artisan builders to come to St. Petersburg.
Okay.
He was like, don't build anything anywhere else. I mean, if you need to build a fucking house, it's fine. You can use wood. But if you're going to build some nice shit, you're only building it on this swamp island, okay? Yeah. You're only building on my fucking swamp island.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So the city was built by conscripted peasants and prisoners.
Okay.
It's fine. And they're from all over Russia. And sometimes he used Swedish prisoners of war.
All right.
Okay. They were all under the supervision of Alexander Menshikov. Remember Menshikov?
Menchie. I forgot about him.
Yeah. So Menshikov is the he's Peter's best friend. He's overseeing a lot of stuff as it's going on, and like I said, he's also really close with Catherine.
Yeah, because she's his spy.
Yeah, kind of. Tens of thousands of people died while building this city.
Well, yeah.
Just wanted to be clear about that. A lot of people are giving the Qatari shit. This is, old stuff. You want to build a big mega capital, you got to kill a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, like I said, they lived in this place from 1703 to 1708. They're living in the little cabin. It's very cute.
It's cute.
They also, at the same time, while the city's being built, there is a new fortress being built there, the Peter and Paul Fortress, which is named after the Peter and Paul Church.
Okay.
In October 1707, guess what Peter did?
1707 in October. Started a war?
No, he made it official.
What do you mean?
He secretly married Catherine.
Oh my God, that's so much more romantic than a war.
Because at this point, they had 3 children.
Yeah.
2 of which had already died.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well.
But don't worry. The third kid?
Yeah.
Is going to be dead by the end of the year.
But no, okay, that's a bummer.
Because they have 12 children.
Wait, you just said they had 3.
Yeah, but I'm saying over their whole marriage.
Oh, okay.
Their whole time together.
The log cabin is a log cabin of death for children?
Yeah, but basically. They just keep having kids because he loves having sex with her.
Yeah. Good.
And many other people.
Yeah. Well,
a lot of mistresses.
He's busy.
He gets a ton of VD.
Yeah.
But they have 12 children.
Okay.
In total, only 2 of which live to full adulthood. And those 2 are Anne Petronova and Elizabeth Petronova.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Peter loved the cabin so much that in 1711, he had it moved. So he had it moved to a more exclusive location.
How did they move him back then without trucks?
Did I not quote
slaves?
how 10,000 serfs died?
Yeah, there it is.
Actually, I'm sorry. I actually misquoted that. Tens of thousands. It's not 10,000. It's tens of thousands of serfs
so
died.
they did strap it to the back of human bodies. And
yeah,
have them
just
crawl.
drag that shit. It's cold. We got sleds.
Oh, my God.
I mean, or it's also a log cabin. So, I mean, they could have just picked it up and rebuilt it Lincoln log style.
Like Lincoln log style?
Yeah, that's possible.
Okay.
So he had it moved. And then later he had it encased in bricks.
Okay, wait a minute.
So, like, he had a brick outside built around it.
Oh, right.
Because he was like, hey, I want this to be safe.
I'm having a hard time picturing it. So is it like he built a brick wall around his log cabin?
No. Like, now it looks like a brick house.
Okay, got it. So, like, when they do deep dives into, like, Betsy Ross's, like, they cut it and they're like, oh, it's a wood house inside of a brick house.
Yes.
Got it.
Just like that.
Layer cake.
And honestly, this is very similar to when Dolly Parton had her cabin moved to the middle. Remember?
I think this might be the only time these two end up in a Venn diagram together.
Peter the Great and Dolly Parton.
Don't...
Well, they're both great. For different reasons.
Okay.
So, Dolly Parton.
No.
All right. So it's placed there. It's actually still there.
Oh, okay.
You can still visit it. I mean, we can't go to Russia. We would be kidnapped and murdered. But if we ever did, it's been there, and it was encased in red brick in 1723 under the orders of Peter to be, quote, preserved for posterity as a memorial to the modesty of Peter the Great and the creation of St. Petersburg from nothing.
Okay, so in order to showcase his modesty.
Yes.
All right. This is like when somebody is like, I'm the most humble.
Yes.
It's that vibe.
So same year, 1711, when he moved the cabin.
Yeah.
That's also the same year when he goes on military campaign against the Ottoman Empire.
The Ottomans. Okay.
Yeah. So
old school.
He's been fighting northward.
Yeah.
Now he's going to start fighting southward a little bit. This is all still part of the Great Northern War, but this is like its own little secondary side quest. Because basically Charles XII has been going out of the Ottomans being like, you got to fuck that dude up. They're like, yo. So he goes down and Catherine joins him.
Oh,
she comes along, which is like pretty rare. But like she brings some like ladies in waiting, and they go on this military campaign to Wallachia.
Oh.
Do you know what Wallachia is?
Now?
It's Romania.
Like Iraq? Okay.
No, it's Romania.
Romania.
But it's Wallachia is like next. It's like where next to Transylvania. Wallachia is where Dracula's from. So
Speaking of bodies on spikes.
Yes. So they're in Wallachia and they get their shit pushed in.
Oh.
So Voltaire, the famous writer Voltaire, actually wrote a book called Peter the Great, and in it he describes how when the Russians were surrounded, Peter's debating over whether or not to surrender, and Catherine starts removing the jewels that are sewn into her gown.
Okay.
And she turns to the other ladies and said, "Pile up all your jewels." And they did. And they made a big pile of all the jewels, and they offered that to the Ottoman commander. And the Ottoman commander accepted the bribe and let them leave.
Nice.
That's a story. We don't actually know. What we do know is that there was a treaty signed called the Treaty of the Pruth. Now, the Pruth is a small river off the Danube. And Russia gave up trying to conquer territory in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. They gave up a bunch of forts that are along the Ukrainian border. Today, it's the Ukrainian border with Moldova. And they also gave up Azov. Now, this is very important because when Vladimir Putin recently invaded Ukraine, he pointed to a bunch of maps that actually are of the Swedish Empire and talking about how Ukraine didn't exist back then. It was all part of the Russian Empire. But like as you can see right here, he admitted in the treaty he signed here that he didn't actually control any of this land.
Oh.
So it's like all this.
Are you saying that Vladimir Putin is lying and doesn't have the Russian people's best interest at heart?
I'm saying that Vladimir Putin, it plays a little fast and loose with the facts. And, if he did a 2-hour podcast and took a pause in the middle to eat some wings and then discovered he made a mistake, he wouldn't issue a retraction at the beginning of the second
somebody would
half.
Accidentally fall out of a skyscraper window.
Push out the window. So in 1712,
okay,
after all this, they get back to Russia.
All right, they make it back.
They make it back fine.
Yeah.
And in 1712, Peter's like, listen, you saved my fucking life, Catherine.
Yeah.
You're the fucking best.
Love you.
Let's make it official.
So they get married in front of people this time.
Yes, not a secret wedding.
Ooh, big party wedding.
Full bore, big old party wedding.
Hell yeah, let's go. Roast a boar.
He gets married. She officially becomes a Tsarina.
Ooh.
And she becomes the,
Now, is anybody like arguing with him, like, because she's technically an orphan laundress.
Well, it's not so much that she's common; it's the fact that she isn't Russian.
Oh,
is more of a bigger issue, because a lot of the Russian nobles are called boyars, but a lot of these nobles, they're just pissed all the time when someone isn't like, no, they're not. They want part of the system. You know what I mean? Like they're fucking mad all the time about stuff. So they're like a little pissed off about that. But he has his court system in place. He's been doing a lot of reforms at the same time.
And you can't argue with him. Like, I'm just wondering if people are upset.
Listen, whenever people argue with him,
against the wall, literally,
he murders them.
Yeah.
And he viciously tortures them in front of people.
Yeah.
Like, people are always like, oh, Ivan the Terrible. Like, Ivan killed less people than Peter.
Again,
and like
this
Ivan
is why
is
they
fucking
can't be
psycho.
in a diagram with Dolly Parton.
No, not at all.
I'm be honest with you.
Dolly has killed less.
She hasn't killed anybody.
But anybody is less than a lot of people. And also, you don't know that.
Yes, I do.
I've been on her terrifying roller coasters.
Her roller coasters are super scary.
Her roller coasters will kill
makes
again.
The scariest roller coasters.
But while this is all happening, Catherine's now growing in power, and Menshikov is starting to get in trouble.
Oh, okay.
So in 2011,
in 2011,
sorry, 1711. 2011 was a good year.
Yeah, 2011, good year.
1711. Menshikov gets in trouble because they're doing some fighting in the Great Northern War in Poland, and his troops loot a town pretty bad. It's pretty bad. It's like the way Russian troops would roll into a city.
Yeah.
Like recently they steal refrigerators from Ukraine. Now they loot this town, and Peter hates that. And he's like, you didn't have control of your troops. You're an asshole. He doesn't like that.
Yeah.
In 1712, he's accused of just general corruption. He's in charge of a district, and he's not dealing with the corruption. And that's one of Peter's big things. Peter's like, listen, No corruption. Now, is Peter corrupt? Yeah, obviously. He's a fucking autocrat.
But you have to be in control of the corruption. You can't have other corruption going around.
All you other bitches can't be doing this shit.
No, only I can be corrupt.
Which is actually very similar to Putin back in the day. There's a very famous video of Vladimir Putin traveling to Eastern Russia and getting all of the richest men to come in town and sign documents in front of him because they got called out for corruption. Mm-hmm. And he made them sign confessions on Russian national TV. Like, it's wild. Like, some of the shit, when they pull shit over there, like, they pull shit over there.
Yeah.
So 1712, he's accused of general corruption. In 1713, Menshikov is accused of defrauding the Russian government of 100,000 rubles.
Oh, okay. Wait. All right.
That's
listen.
like that's like almost like $1 billion.
You can't steal money from this dude. I'm saying that right now.
Yeah, you can't.
We haven't heard anything about somebody trying to steal money, but the vibes I get from this dude, Peter, is that we are not embezzling from him.
So let me tell you a quick little Peter vibe story.
Yeah.
Okay. There's two. One is Peter. Remember how I told you like he's super into science?
Yeah.
He gets super into dentistry around this time.
That's a weird thing to get into.
Yeah.
No. Oh, is he pulling people's teeth out? That's going to be horrifying.
Yo,
no.
Legit. He has his own pair of pliers. No. And if you're like, I got something on my teeth. He's like, I got it. And he just like jumps over and rips your tooth out. He straight up rips your teeth out. Second thing he does during this time, because again, he's trying to pay for St. Petersburg. He's trying to pay for his navy.
Yeah.
And he also wants Russians to stop looking so fucking Russian. He's like, you guys have these long hair. You have these giant beards. You're wearing all this fucking fur. No, you're going to wear the shit that the people in France are wearing. You're going to wear the shit that the people in fucking Denmark are wearing. Mm-hmm. You're going to dress like a fucking European. So he bans all of this different types of clothing, and he institutes a tax.
Okay.
That you have to pay a massive tax if you have a beard.
A beard tax.
He puts in a beard tax. And in fact, some guys refuse to shave off their beards so much so that Peter chases them down and cuts them off with like himself.
Oh, I thought he was going to behead them, but
he does behead a few people.
Okay.
And sometimes when he beheads people, he will like legit like pick up the head and point to where the windpipe is because he's been studying medicine.
Oh my God.
And then he's like, he's like super into like, hey, when you cut someone's head off, like, do they blink? Like he'll pick up their heads. Like, are they blinking? Nah, that one didn't blink.
Oh no.
Like it's crazy. He has a cabinet of curiosities. So like, you know, the Mutter Museum?
Yeah.
Imagine that, but just like one room in some guy's house.
That's part of a Psycho movie.
Yeah, no, he just has like jars
and then just he's suddenly into dentistry. This is red flags everywhere.
He has jars of formaldehyded body parts.
No.
And just like weird stuff. He collects a lot of human curiosities. Mm-hmm. So a lot of like little people and a lot of very tall people.
He's a tall people.
Yeah, but he's even taller people. Like, so people have gigantism. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's basically Vince McMahon. Okay, so but we're back to all this stuff. So
okay, Menchie stole a lot of money.
Menchie's stealing money. He's being super fucking corrupt. But again, Peter's like, I'm gonna kill this guy.
Okay.
But Menchie gets really sick.
With what? This is Putin energy. They suddenly get sick? What are you talking about?
Menchie just gets really, really sick. Like, scary sick. And then Peter's like, well, we can't kill him. He's sick. And then, like, enough time passes that Pete's like, that's fine. And don't do it again.
He just forgives him?
He forgives him.
Dang.
Yeah. He's like, Menchie, you're a mensch.
Come on.
Don't do it again.
Come on. Slap on the wrist.
So now you know how Peter... You now have learned about his penchant for forgiveness.
Okay, that was one forgiving moment in what is a sea of terrifying other things about his personality.
Yeah, so let's talk about his son, Alexi.
Okay, Alexi from the wife
marriage.
He didn't like.
Yes, the first marriage.
Yeah.
So Peter always had an issue with Alexi.
It's very strange that he's like...
It's a really, really
weird
thing.
Since day one, just a beef.
So Grand Duke Alexei Petrovich of Russia... Mm-hmm. Was raised by his mother to hate his father until she was sent to a convent.
Okay, well, now it's starting to make a little sense. She was making sure...
She hated Peter.
Yeah.
She hated all of Peter's ideas. She hated everything about him. Mm-hmm. Peter basically would roll into town, have sex with her, and then leave.
All right.
I mean, so, like, there's nothing... There's no good side.
Yeah.
This is like Warhammer 40K. If you're looking for a good
I don't understand this reference.
Okay,
already.
not for you. This is for certain people who are listening to this podcast, okay? There are no good guys in Warhammer 40K.
Okay.
All right? If you think the Empire of Man is good, you're an idiot. They are Nazis and they are fascists in space. If you think Chaos Marines are good, you're an idiot. They literally worship chaos. The only good people are the orcs because they just like fighting. Okay. So Alexi's raised by his mother.
Did you just start a Warhammer war on the podcast?
Yeah, and if you like the Tau, you're a little wee bitch. So Alexi serves in the army at the age of 13. His dad demands at 13. He's like, Alexi, you're going to join the army. You're going to follow the army around with, your bodyguard. And he has to serve in an artillery regiment. Now, this is during the early stages of the war.
Yeah, so he could go to the Ottoman part or the northern part.
Yeah, no, he's in the northern part. Okay. He's typically in the same areas where his dad is because he's actually around when they find Marta. So he's kind of there when they discover his new mom.
Yeah.
He's not in the room, but he's in the general vicinity.
Okay.
So this is a pretty big moment for him. He doesn't really like military service, obviously, because he's a 13-year-old prince, and this is kind of weird. When he returns back to Russia, he is constantly surrounded by nobility and priests because his dad doesn't give a shit about him because his dad is too busy fucking everything that moves, building boats, living in a log cabin in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
All these different things. His dad's doing crazy, basically 1700 mad scientist shit.
Yeah.
And Alexi is just my mom's in a nunnery. Who do I got here? Oh, Cousin Gregor. Cousin Gregor, what do you think? I think your father is an asshole. And we should go back to the way it was, where we just beat serfs and had beards.
Yeah.
What do you think, priest? I think we shouldn't be listening to your father. Your father who likes to get hammered drunk and throw foxes in the air. That part's pretty cool. But yeah, so basically all of these people are talking into his ear yo, fuck this. In 1711, remember that year, Alexia gets married to Princess Charlotte of Brunswick-Wolfenbüttel.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just some middle.
Great.
It's like the Holy Roman Empire type of area. That's where she's from. The marriage quickly failed.
Oh.
The first 6 months, great. Second 6 months, terrible. They have 2 children.
In 12 months?
It's over 3 years.
Oh,
they have 2 kids. The firstborn is Natalia.
All right.
And in 1715, their second child, Peter, is born. But Charlotte dies during his birth.
Okay.
Before the birth of his grandson, who was also named Peter.
Yeah.
Papa Peter the Great, orders Alexi to come to a naval yard to see some of the new ships. He's like, hey, come over here to this lake. I got a bunch of boats I've been building.
Yeah.
Check out our new boats. I'm really fucking pumped about them. And part of this was, it was twofold. One was Peter has not been satisfied with how Alexi's been doing. Because again, it's not that the goalposts have been moved. They've never been labeled.
Yeah.
There are no goalposts. He's just kind of like, you suck. And Alexi is like, why don't you just love me?
Yeah, well, no, we're not doing that.
No, but here's the thing. Let me show you a picture of Alexi.
Okay, that's a lot of forehead right
That's
there.
a lot of forehead.
All
I just wanted to show that to you.
Thank you.
Just so you know. And I mean, just to show you how famous their hatred of each other. This is from the 1800s. This is a picture of the two of them in a room. But this is...
Wow, that is just really... You can just see he's just burning with rage at him for no reason.
Yeah, now this is a painting that someone else made a century later.
They still
But
knew.
it's still, they nailed it.
Again, still with the forehead, though. He looks very pale, too.
Yeah. Well, he's very pale because he's not a man of action like his dad.
I was going to say, is that why he didn't like him? Because he's not an outside kind of guy?
No, he's not. He's a soft boy.
He was a little soft boy.
He would be super into video games if they were around, you know?
This whole podcast feels like a promo for video games.
Well, I mean, because the thing is again, he's also surrounded by reactionary conservatives a lot who are screaming that everything his dad is doing is evil. So Alexi himself is a reactionary conservative. Alexi would fit in so well with like the fucking Ben Shapiro's of the world.
Got it.
Like he's just like a whiny little bitch who's like, no, but we were great back when we just used to beat serfs. And his dad's like, but we could conquer Poland. So Peter hadn't been satisfied.
Not Poland, because that's where Gus is.
Well, it's kind of the thing is Peter's playing Gus.
Oh, keep your bros close and your bros.
Well, because he knew that Gus sucks at war.
Yeah, but
so he's like, Gus, go to war, and then I'll save you, and I'll have to station my troops in your territory.
This is Putin energy again.
Yeah, it's totally Putin energy. It's also like a little bit of America energy.
Well, you know.
So Peter,
you didn't bring up oil, okay? We haven't talked about oil yet.
They haven't figured it out yet. So Peter has him show up, and he's like, "Listen, you suck."
Yeah,
just like standing. He's like, this is how I picture it. I picture it. Okay, remember in Game of Thrones where there's the scene where the daddy Lannister is like cutting up the deer while he's like yelling at the one son.
Yeah.
It's like that. Like it's very that of like sleeves rolled up. He's building a whole boat and he's like, you're a fucking pussy. I've been paying all these fucking people to teach you French and to teach you math. Why don't you show me how good you are at mechanics and mathematics?
Yeah.
So he challenges him.
To math?
Yeah, basically, he's like, show me what you know. Like, show me.
I like this scenario where he's like, you're not as tough and cool as me. Let's have a math contest.
Well, it's kind of like, it's not a contest. He's like, make me something.
Yeah.
Show me you're a fucking man and
Build
you're good with
something.
your hands.
Yeah.
You know? Alexi responds by shooting himself in his right hand.
Oh, Alexi. Bud.
Yeah. And it just says, and Peter took no more interest in him.
Alexi, I was really hoping you would do something really cool.
Shortly after this, Charlotte gives birth to Peter.
And she dies. So R.I.P.
Alexi, then after the kid's born, Peter reaches out to Alexi in a letter. And he says, hey, it feels like you're not czar material.
Okay.
You ain't a bad bitch.
Yep.
You ain't strong.
Nope.
You ain't tough.
Nope.
You ain't alpha.
You ain't about that life.
You ain't alpha. You're not top G.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Okay?
No, not top G.
Alexi responds in a very meek letter, which I actually read some translations of because I went to the library and got books.
I know. I was there.
And I know. And I read the books, and they actually have a bunch of translated letters in there. And he writes like a little bitch.
Oh, no.
And he basically is like, Papa, why not let the baby be czar and I'll just go away?
Okay.
And Peter's like, fine, but only if you become a monk.
Oh my God.
Because that's the only way to get you. That's the only way to remove Alexi from the line
power
of,
structure.
Yeah, from the line. You have to go, you have to go, take the black, like in Game of Thrones. Like you have to be out of the line of succession.
Yeah.
Completely. Go to a monastery, and he's like, but I like silk. Like basically, he's like, no.
Is Alexi just like a little sassy? Is that what we're talking about? No,
he's not sassy. He's not gay. He's just a little bitch.
Okay.
No, because he's not. Because he has mistresses. You know, he has kids. All these different things. He's just everyone else is Russian, and he's been raised by French tutors.
Got it.
You know what I mean? Like,
and his dad wanted him raised by French tutors.
No, exactly.
So
his dad wants him to be European. He doesn't want him to be as Russian-minded.
But then all of the Europeanness is making him seem weak.
Yes.
Because he wants all the fine silks.
Which is what Peter's rejecting. While at the same time, all of his Russian cousins and uncles are like, your dad would respect you if you acted more like us. And he's like, Daddy, why can't I act more like them? He's like, don't act like them. They're assholes. So, like, he's stuck.
Okay, Alexi has no chance of winning.
He had no chance.
Yeah.
With his big fucking weird forehead.
Okay.
Like, I can't stress how he looks like Eric Stoltz in Mask. So, he do. And as someone who looks like Eric Stoltz in Mask, I can say that.
Yeah.
So, Alexi says, Papa, let the baby be the czar. And Peter's like, fine. Give up silk. And Alexi's like, no. And then he fled to Vienna.
Oh.
So he runs away.
He runs away to the sausages.
Yes, he runs to Austria, where he's kind of like held by the emperor. And the emperor's like, this is kind of weird, man. Like the emperor in Austria is like, this is a little fucking weird.
I don't like that.
This is a little weird. He's like, and then like he starts getting the emperor there, starts getting letters from like the Russian delegations. They're like, give him back. And they're like, That's a weird way of putting that.
Oh, no.
He told me he was just visiting. I thought it was just a little walkabout like his dad did. And they're like, give him back. And he's like, oh, this is weird. To the point where the emperor writes to the King of England, like, I don't know how to deal with this, man. I'm pretty sure Peter wants to murder his own son. And I, like, legit, I think he wants to kill him. And this is George the First of England.
Yeah.
Is also German.
Yeah.
So they all speak German. So they're all speaking German to each other. And like the King of England, who is German, is like, it's weird. Yeah, it's fucking weird. So they're all like going back and forth, like trying to figure out what to fucking do. So the emperor just sends Alexi to Naples.
Okay.
And this whole time, Alexi is traveling with his mistress, Ephrsonia. It's a really weird name.
Fursonia? Like a fursona?
It looks like it's pronounced. It looks like it's spelled Afrosina.
Okay.
But it's like Ephronsia. Or it's like it's something weird name.
I thought you were saying a fursona. And
no,
I said,
no.
That's a whole different episode.
So Peter sends envoys who finally convince Alexi to come home.
From Italy.
From Italy. They say, listen, you come home, nothing bad will happen. You can bring your mistress back. Like what? Like we it's good. Everything's
we'll work it out.
Everything's good.
Cool.
Like your dad was heated, but now he's fine.
You can
it's
keep
all
the
good.
silks.
You can keep the silk. So he comes back. He's back for like 2 weeks. When Alexi falls to his knees and begs Catherine, please let my mistress come home. So finally she's like, fine, whatever. And they pay for that, and the mistress comes back.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Peter, once the mistress comes back, Peter immediately accuses Alexi and all of his friends and every associate he's ever made of rebellion and conspiracy to overthrow the Tsar.
All right.
They immediately arrest his mistress the second she reaches Russia.
Man.
She confesses.
No.
The moment she is shown the torture implements.
Oh, yeah.
They bring her to a room. They open up a briefcase full of implants.
Like, I did it. You're
and
right.
she's like, yeah, whatever you need.
Whatever it is, dude.
So she signed a document that basically said that Alexi wanted to overthrow his father. When Alexi hears that she said this, he breaks down because that was the love of his life. And one of his things was he really wanted to marry her. And she was from Finland, and she was a commoner.
Okay.
And they're like, no, absolutely not. It was a whole big thing. So Alexi is then taken to Peter and Paul Fortress in St. Petersburg, where he is tortured for months by his father directly.
Oh, God.
Yes. By his father and like the whole court, basically.
No.
They just like beat the shit out of him. And he is sentenced to death, which he doesn't make it to his actual decapitation because he dies while being whipped.
Okay.
From just like his wounds.
Yeah.
So over the next couple years, so that's 1718. So over the next couple years, Peter reformed some more stuff. He killed some more people. He built some more stuff. He killed some more people. He practiced more dentistry.
Okay, that's
He killed some more
horrifying.
people. He collected more people. He killed some more people. He just kept.
What do you collect? What do you mean collect?
He collected more people.
Like for his weird museum?
Yeah, like dwarves.
Oh
like I said,
God.
dwarves. People like if you got a weird hand,
no.
get in my museum.
Oh no!
By museum, it's just like a garden
It's
where he
just
likes to
a
walk through and be like, "Hey, look at that guy!"
God, no.
Meanwhile, Catherine's there this entire time, just popping out kids.
Yeah.
And they keep
doing
fucking.
It. Okay.
Having kids.
Yep.
Fucking.
All right.
Having kids.
Okay.
Fucking.
I think we get it.
He has virulent VD.
Oh, ow. Okay.
Because he is fucking.
All right.
Yeah. He also travels around some more. There's some different things about him going to different places. A lot of people talk about with Peter, especially, that he is just like, he's endlessly looking for knowledge. But the one thing that gets confused by Western things when they're writing about it is that they always have this idea that Peter's trying to reform Russia to make it more like Europe.
Yeah.
And that he wants this technology so that way Russia won't be backwards. When in reality, he wants to conquer Europe and he wants the technology to conquer Europe. Yeah. Like this man wants to keep expanding the borders.
Yeah.
It's easier for Russia to expand eastward towards Siberia because it's fucking empty.
Yeah, it's Siberia.
But like when he's looking at Europe, he's like, well, it's not gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to conquer all that.
Yeah.
If they got all them cannons.
They got cannons.
We don't got cannons.
They're drinking a lot of coffee and talking to each other.
What's that shit called? Tea? That's new.
They stole that from India.
Yeah. So it's all this different stuff. So he's he also starts to look towards Iran, Persia, and getting involved down there. And there's just like all this different stuff that's happening. In 1721, though, the Great Northern War ends.
Ooh, okay.
And with the end of the war, Peter changes his title.
Oh, okay.
He is now no longer the Tsar of the Tsar of Russia. He is now the Emperor of all the Russias. This is actually the invention of Russia here. So a lot of people talk about Ivan the Terrible being the first Tsar, which is true because that's the idea of the crown of Byzantium being moved to Moscow.
Yep.
And there's an idea of Moscow being the third Rome.
Yeah.
So the first Rome is Rome.
Yep.
The second Rome was Constantinople, today Istanbul, was Byzantium. And then once that got sacked by the Ottomans, that transferred its power and majesty to Moscow.
Okay.
So the Tsar of the Russias is also the prince. He's the prince of Moscow and the Principality of Moscow.
Yeah.
So that district.
Yeah.
So it's that spreading that we talked about from before. And part of this idea falls underneath the idea of an all-Russian nation.
Okay.
So this is a concept because, again, we're used to the idea of Russia. We look at this giant thing on a map, right? And we're like, that's always been there. It hasn't. It's a collection of many lands and many peoples, which is why they changed their name to Emperor and Empress. And it goes from this idea of the Russian group, or where they are, like this little principality or Muscovy, to the Russian Empire and all of the Russias, because that includes a trinity of 3 sub-nations. The one being Great Russia, the other one being Little Russia, and White Russia. Great Russia is basically from the mountains kind of like to the west coast of Russia, right?
All right.
Like going up against Europe. White Russia is Belarusia, and Little Russia is Ukraine. But even in their own idea, these are 3 separate lands of 3 separate people, but they want to kind of duct tape them all together. So when he takes this title, Peter's new title is, are you ready?
Yeah.
By the grace of God, the most excellent and great sovereign emperor, Peter Alexeyevich, the ruler of all the Russias, of Moscow, of Kiev, of Vladimir, of Novgorod, Tsar of Kazan, Tsar of Astrakhan, Tsar of Siberia, sovereign of Psychov, great prince of Smolensk, of Siver, of Yugorosk, of Perm, of Vatka, of Bulgaria, and others, sovereign and great prince of the Novgorod lower lands, of Chernigov, of Ryazan, of Rostov, of Yaroslav, of Belarus, of Oldera, of Kondia, and the sovereign nations of all the northern lands, and sovereign of the Iberian lands, and of the Kartilian, and Georgian kings, and the Carbonan lands, and the Circassian and mountain princes, and many other states and lands, western and eastern, here and there, and the successor and sovereign and ruler.
I like the addition of here and there.
Yeah, just little,
just so you know, like anywhere, over there.
You know what was missing?
What?
A willy-nilly. It really needs a willy-nilly in there.
That is an incredibly succinct name.
But that's the thing is, like, we call that Russia, but in reality, they're like, he is the emperor. It'd be like us, instead of saying the president of the United States of America, it'd be like, he is the president of Pennsylvania. The Carolina Confederation.
The Tsar of Baltimore.
Yeah, exactly. Like all of these different, like, because we sit there and think of like Siberia as part of Russia. No, the Tsar of Siberia. It's a separate tsardom.
Yeah.
So he's putting them all together. He's like, all of this is mine.
Yeah, I get that. I get he's power hungry.
I know. I'm just making that clear for everyone.
It's very weird. He scares me.
So this 1721. So this, and now here's the good news. Catherine and Peter, there's never been any weirdness there. No violence.
That's great. Just a lot of love making.
Yep, until 1724.
Okay, wait, what?
In 1724, Peter suspects Catherine of an affair.
How? How could she have time?
With her personal secretary, William Mons.
Oh, no.
Now, Willem Mons. Willem was entrusted with administering all of Catherine's estates in 1716. And after she had a coronation and she becomes empress and all these different things, he was promoted to the rank of imperial chamberlain. Within a couple months, though, of getting this title, he was arrested on charges of embezzlement and breach of trust. And there was a quick inquiry, and then he was suddenly beheaded.
Okay, hold on. Did she say he was embezzling from her trust?
Peter did.
Okay. So Peter was looking for a loophole to kill this dude.
Yeah.
Which he didn't really need. He just did it.
He just does it. But I mean, that was the kind of one of the things is like whether or not he may have wanted one, though, just to keep her happy.
Yeah, so she doesn't
something
know.
else. But there were accusations because they were really, really close.
Okay.
That, that there's, he's always with her, all these different things. The other weird part of it is Willem Mons is also related to one of Peter's first mistresses.
Oh.
So one of the reasons why Peter was so into Europe was because one of his first mistresses was Dutch. And Willem was Dutch. And I think they're the cousins or something like that.
Yeah. Imagine being like Dutch people are your gateway to Europe.
Yeah. There is, his head was preserved.
What?
In alcohol.
All right.
And it was supposedly kept inside of Peter's weird cabinet of
curiosities.
Yeah. And there is a rumor that Peter may have forced Catherine to sit in front of the jar with his head in it and stare at it for hours and to think about what she did.
Okay.
So the thing is, though, is that might be one of the reasons. The other part is it could have been corruption.
He could have just been embezzling.
He could have just been corrupt. What he might have been embezzling was access to Peter through Catherine.
Got it. Which was what Menchie was doing before he got sick.
Which is that combination of things. So what they were what the accusation was in general with a lot of them was that they paid Willem to get access to Catherine. Oh. And then Catherine would then greenlight them to be able to be in the room with Peter.
Okay, I see what's happening.
So it's a pay-for-play type of thing.
Yeah.
And Peter's like, absolutely not. I don't need middle managers. We're not paywalling this. That was kind of like his idea. So like things get heated.
Okay.
And that's 1720. Don't worry though.
I've been worried the whole time.
Because guess what Catherine does?
What?
She outlives Peter.
Let's go.
Just a couple months.
Go,
a couple months after he decapitates Willem.
Okay.
He dies himself.
Suspiciously?
Just dies. He does a lot.
I mean,
he's just got a lot going on. He's also 6'8".
I was about to say he's very tall.
He's
that
very tall.
Shortens your lifespan.
He's drinking heavily all the time.
He's very Russian.
He's riddled with VD.
Just riddled.
I actually, now that I'm realizing it, I didn't have the exact cause on here.
Of death, COD?
Yeah, I don't have the exact cause.
Syphilitic brain. It's a big one back then, right?
Let's see.
Get a little brain rot.
Where's it?
Maybe it was a fox came in the night and bit him.
It just says here.
He looks kind of happy on his deathbed. No chin.
He had a gangrenous bladder.
Ooh. Oh, God.
Yeah, there we go.
That sounds so horrific.
He kept getting UTIs, probably from all the VD.
Yeah.
Apparently there was a rumor.
Okay.
That said he asked for a pen and paper and he scrawled an unfinished note that because he did not declare an heir.
Oh,
remember, because he murdered his son.
Because he was like, I don't like you or your son.
I don't like Alexi. So he murdered Alexi. So everyone's like, well, it doesn't clearly go straight to the grandson if he killed Alexi, Apparently, he wrote on the note, "Leave all to ... died." Like that's what,
incredible.
No, I don't think that is true.
That's probably not true. Gangrene of the bladder, bro.
So one thing that happened though is there's immediately a power vacuum.
Yeah. Panic.
To which Menchie steps in.
Menchie?
Yeah, Menchie's still alive.
Okay.
Peter never killed him.
No, he forgave him.
And Menchi steps in and says, you know what we got to do? Got to make Catherine. Catherine should be the empress. She should run everything. And everyone's like, why? And they're like, because if we pick anyone else, they're going to roll back everything Peter just did and kill us.
Yeah, that's true.
To which all the rich people are like, oh, yeah, no, we should definitely have her.
Yeah.
And that's what she did. She became the first empress of Russia.
Okay.
So that she goes from being possibly a washerwoman, war bride.
Orphan, war bride, washer lady who started doing hard labor at 5 years old.
Yeah.
Now the Empress of Russia.
Now she's the Empress of Russia at 40 years old. She's hard drinking.
All right.
She still can't read.
Oh, no.
She still can't write.
Okay.
She barely speaks the language.
Oh, no.
She is an illiterate drunk.
All right.
And she sits there and
said, you guys ever been to Florida?
She sits there and she lets Menshikov run everything for 2 years.
Okay.
And she actually orders the reduction in the military because the war's finally over and the Russian military is now the biggest in Europe.
Oh, right.
It's like over 300,000 total troops, like all this stuff. She's like,
reel it in, guys. Reel it in. I want some jewelry crazy. Money.
And then after a couple of years, she dies because she has it's like basically sepsis in her lungs from how much pneumonia she's been getting.
Oh, okay.
Because again, she's been drinking herself to death.
Yeah, these are hard deaths. These are like painful, ouchy deaths.
But before she died,
okay,
she recognized Alexi's son, Peter.
We're holding hands now.
Yeah, Alexi's son, Peter.
Okay.
He gets to become the next Tsar of Russia.
Okay, so
that's
you're
Peter's grandson.
Smiling,
yeah.
Which makes me concerned.
Why?
Because you smiling during these episodes about history means something bad could happen.
Oh, nothing bad happens. Alexi is Emperor of Russia. Not Alexi. Peter II is Emperor of Russia.
Okay, great.
For 2 years.
And then what happened?
He dies.
Okay.
Because he's a kid.
He's a child.
Kids back then just die all the time.
That's what they do. So he had to have so many of them.
Yeah, so then there was a big argument. Mm-hmm. And then who else comes in? And then I don't write it down. Where'd it go?
Oh, man. Dead air.
Sorry. He hands the empire to the daughter of Peter the Great's mentally incapacitated brother.
Okay, wait, hold on. So the sister that's in the nunnery from the beginning of this story.
Yeah.
She was using the mentally incapacitated brother as a front for power.
Yes.
That's the brother we're talking about.
Yes.
So that brother got married and had kids?
Yes.
Okay. And so now one of his kids is the Tsar.
Yes, Tsarina.
Yeah,
because again, Catherine's now opened up the door that they're kind of used to having women rule.
Yeah.
They're like, no, it's fine. Women can rule. It's fine. Because when a woman rules, in reality, they look around, they're like, the men are really running.
Okay.
But it's, in reality, more men are running. Because what's crazy, for Peter being called Peter the Great, he was fucking hated. There's actually a famous woodcutting that I found called the Funeral March of the Cat.
Okay.
And the cat is clearly Peter the Great. Mm-hmm. And the mice are clearly everyone in Russia.
Yeah.
And it's the mice holding a funeral. They're like, oh no, it's so sad.
Boo-hoo.
We're so sad the guy who keeps butchering us fucking died.
Oh no, not the sad cat death.
Yeah. So she comes in and replaces.
So okay, is mean question? I don't know if it's mean. Is she suffering from the same things that her father was? Okay,
no.
All right.
She's intelligent and has all that other. She's all the wares with her.
Okay, she got a wherewithal.
Yeah. The other thing too is that her mom, which is basically Peter the Great's sister-in-law, she is one of the most powerful people in the Russian court.
Oh, okay.
Until like pretty late in Peter's life, like so she is considered very powerful, and then when she dies. Anna, what's her name? She inherits a lot of that.
Okay, so right now, according to your things, this woman who's running is the Tsaress or whatever you said. Tsarina. What's her name again?
Anna.
Anna. Okay. And does she do a good job? Is she good at her job? Does she die young?
Himself is Emperor of Russia, stupid asshole. This guy's such a. Hold on, I'm just trying to click. There we go. Catherine. Peter the Second. It goes to Anna. I mean, she does fine. She's more conservative a little bit. She's just like a little bit more conservative. And then she's succeeded by Ivan VI.
That's a child. You just pulled up a picture of a child.
Yeah.
Is that her child?
No.
whose child is that?
It's some like niece or nephew's kid. She's like, that'll be that. When Anna dies,
she just picked somebody else.
She picked a child. Yeah, she's like, the Ivan the Sixth.
What? Okay.
And he is murdered.
Okay, they murdered. Who's that? Who murdered the child?
Catherine. Mm-hmm. And Peter the Great's daughter Elizabeth.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Only two.
There was only two left.
Yeah.
And she killed him?
Yeah, she killed that baby.
That's funny as hell.
She put that baby.
That's funny.
She goes and she puts.
How old is that kid? Like 8?
Yes, she's a very small child.
Look
at the painting of him with the crown.
I know.
Like, look at that little asshole baby.
Bigger than this head. That's why they didn't put it on him.
Yeah.
Oh, she killed the kid.
She puts him away for a very long time. She like hides him, and then when some stuff's going down, she's like, fucking kill the kid.
Okay, so Catherine's daughter.
Elizabeth
kills the
kid.
kid.
First of Russia.
And now is she the Tsarina?
Yes, and then she becomes the Tsarina.
Boom. Okay. This is wild because they're just like, if you kill him, you win.
Yeah.
You catch him, you got him.
Yeah, exactly.
Dang.
It just keeps going like that. And now Elizabeth.
Okay, she is older than I thought she'd be.
She lives for a long time.
All right.
She isn't considered one of the greats.
No.
She's kind of actually middling, is a lot of them consider her. But she does like whip the shit out of Prussia for like a minute. Here it says Elizabeth led the Russian Empire during the two major European conflicts of her time. And she does a lot of like really cool stuff. And then she dies and leaves it to Peter III.
Okay.
Who is obsessed with Prussia and immediately like gives up all the gains. It's just like, no man, Prussia fucking rules. We can't do this to Prussia. But don't worry, he's only czar for a little bit of time because then, you know what happens?
What?
The TV show The Great on Hulu starts.
Okay, great.
That's what gets us to Catherine II. Who's Catherine the Great?
Catherine the Great.
So this time period is like bookended. On one end, you have Peter the Great, and the other end, you have Catherine the Great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pretty crazy
the Hulu
time.
show's so good. So entertaining.
It's good. It's incredibly
inaccurate. Historically accurate.
It's
so fun, though.
It gets the vibes right, though.
Yeah, it gets the vibes.
I do want to be clear. The vibes are pretty right.
The vibes. The fighting of bears.
Yeah.
The drunken debauchery. The being like, shave your beards. Be more European.
Yeah,
No, fuck you.
Yeah, all that stuff. The vibes, immaculate.
Yeah.
On point.
Yeah.
The history,
wrong.
Fucking so wrong. Not a thing right.
Enjoyable. Can't wait to watch the 3rd season when we pay for streaming again sometime in the future.
Sometime in the future. But we're not scabs, so we're not promoting it.
No.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, I learned so much.
All right, well, there's going to be a test on this, so...
There's going to be oh no, I never did good on testing in school.
I know, well, that's the reason why I tell it to you the way I tell it to you.
Oh, God.
So I have... What? That was my episode.
I loved it.
I have my 3 topics.
Oh, to add to your thing?
To add to that's going up. That's going to go up live tonight. Mm-hmm. I'm going to read them to you now.
Oh, you're going to tell me them?
Oh,
my God, this was crazy.
The first one is the story of Jack Kirby and Stan Lee from Marvel Comics.
Oh, okay. I know who Stan Lee is. I don't know who the other person is.
You don't know who Jack Kirby is?
No.
All right. That makes me mad.
Okay. Well, you're married.
You don't know who Jack Kirby is?
No.
You really?
Why would I know that?
I should hit you with my car.
You can't hit me with your car. You're in a podcast room.
The next one's the reopening of Japan.
When did it close?
Okay. Well, you don't know that either?
No.
Okay. And then J. Edgar Hoover.
I mean, I know a little bit about Hoover.
What do you know about J. Edgar Hoover?
I know. Okay, so in the musical Annie.
All right.
There's this song.
That's our episode. That's our episode. There is so much fucked up shit with him.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. Like I'll have to read 2 biographies before I could actually
Good.
do
Get
that
your
one.
library card going.
Listen, we went to the library. I was like, oh, research here is very easy.
Yeah. It's a great place.
So this has been our episode.
I loved it. You know what I forgot to tell you? That
What?
I don't know if you know this, but when you were talking about the embezzlement, it reminded me of old memory. But my first dog growing up, we named him Rupel. We had a dog named Rupel for years.
Yeah.
Because my dad was being sarcastic and said that because we got him from the pound and that my dad was like, this dog's worth less than a penny. He's worth a ruble.
Ah.
It's like, wow, okay.
So his name was Ruble.
Ruble, yeah.
Oh, you always say Rupel.
Oh, well, that's kind of how we said it.
It's a different thing.
Well, it was ruble as in the money.
No, I know, like a Russian currency.
Yeah.
It's now worth even less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was the
destroyed
running
their
joke.
economy.
That was the joke for the dog's
well now
name.
It makes more sense. You've never actually told me that.
Yeah.
Because you've always just said RuPaul with a P.
Oh, okay.
So I've always been like, I don't understand.
Again, just like Nevada, I say things wrong.
That's fine.
What are we going to do?
Do you want to say any goodbyes?
No, thanks everybody for listening. Thank you for being patrons and being Hey Huns and team leads. And please vote on Alex's topic. I don't know any of these things, so apparently we need to vote on which one we need to focus our energy on.
Yeah. They're all really good topics.
Yeah.
And I'm mad now. I should have put one I knew no one would vote on.
Okay, well.
Should have thrown a filler in there, but now I'm going to post them.
Filler queen.
Here we go. Ready?
Bye.